leadership, and communication skills that set you apart in today's job market. Apply now and save with no application fee through September 3rd. Visit umgc.edu to get started. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
Macy's One Day Sale is the one sale you can't miss because it's our best prices of the month, like jeweled women's sandals for $19.99 and under, 60% off premium bedding from Charter Club, and over half off Alfani 3-piece suits. Half off. Plus, it's Star Money Bonus Days, when Star Rewards members can earn rewards even faster. Not a member yet? Join for free and earn $10 in Star Money for every 100 you spend. Today at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply. Subject to credit approval.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA World Cup here in the Bay Area. And our more than 110 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, hey.
Hey, thanks for meeting me here. It's just, you're my only lawyer friend, and I need your professional opinion. You see that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there? That's all I paid for it.
Let me get back to you on that.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on all Hyundai Palisade, Santa Fe, and Santa Fe hybrid models. And check out our other great deals at your Hyundai dealer today. Offer ends September 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ-FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. The best Giants talk in the Bay is on 95.7 The Game. Reaction to every pitch.
He struck him out! To end the game, Ryan Walker!
Every home run.
Jung-Hoo Lee finds the bleachers in right center field.
And every big play.
Here comes Ramos! This game
It's your fix for Giants baseball.
Not only is it the greatest game in the world, we're in the memory-making business.
The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap.
Hello there. Welcome into the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Sam Lubman here, and everybody, get excited. He's back. It's the one, the only Dan Devone riding shotgun with me today. Glad to have you back, Dan. I missed you these last couple weeks. Giants, though, another rough one, folks. Stop me if you heard this one before. Giants lost at home. Don't actually stop me. We still have a show to do, so I am going to keep going here. But Giants did lose at home for the sixth time in a row, 7-6, falling to the Tampa Bay Rays at Oracle Park last night. 6 straight losses for the Giants at home, 14 of their last 15 at their home ballpark. Something that has not been done, Dan, since, believe this, 1901. William McKinley was that McKinley? I think, yeah, William McKinley.
Oh, sure.
Was the president.
McKinley.
It is 9:02 on Saturday morning at 95.7 The Game on the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap, and we got William McKinley references happening on this show. That is how nuts it has gotten for the San Francisco Giants.
So we've surpassed 1940, which was the previous mark, and now we're in the turn of the century in the early 1900s.
I think they still had chamber pots back then.
Which I think says a lot about, if we were doing a show like this, you know how it'd be done? We'd be using the sound effects, right?
That's how you see, the Giants came close at the Polo Grounds. See, that's how everyone talked back then, right?
Yeah, it's, I don't know how to explain it, but Pasta and the rest of you people that are already, and listen, I completely understand. I think Vegas has them at less than 3% of getting into the postseason. But I'm just going to give a level of optimism, not to be the contrarian, but to provide some sort of logic in all of this, what has been just an underwhelming, disappointing season to this point.
Yeah, it's just incredible how it's fallen off like this. I mean, you can write a book about how much it's fallen off this season for the Giants, and that's kind of where I start off is just, so there's a phrase, Dan, that we like to use in sports there that I am not a big fan of using. There's a lot of those phrases, but this one in particular, I'm going to bring it up right now because I don't like using it because I think we overuse it. There's a lot of phrases in sports I think we overuse, like, championship or bust is an overused phrase in sports because I feel like a lot of people don't really know what bust means in that situation. Like, bust means heads are rolling. Like coming into the season, especially at the All-Star break, I felt the Giants were in a playoffs or bust situation. Because, if they with this, how good this team is, if you don't make the playoffs, then you're going to see some changes. The phrase I'm going to use here that I don't like using is the phrase rock bottom. And I don't like using that phrase generally because there's always a new bottom. There's always a new low that a team can hit. Just when you think it's gotten as bad as it could possibly get, something stupid is going to happen that's going to be even worse than it was before, and then you hit a new low. This week, though, particularly on Sunday, or sorry, not Sunday, Wednesday. What are days of the week again? Particularly on Wednesday, losing 11-1 to the Padres at home in a disaster class of a second inning where they gave up 7 runs in, I want to say, like 6 minutes or something like that. I left the room for 5 minutes. I came back and a 2-0 game was a 7-0 game. It's like, well, what just happened here? That escalated way too quickly. I think Brick just killed a guy. And then the way that game ended and the sad feeling you had around this team, the empty answers these players were giving you after that game, that felt like, I don't know how you can get much lower than that. And then last night happens, and it was kind of a weird first off scoring sequence here. The Giants score 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third, which, I joked out, that's a 45-run pace for those who can pick up on that pattern. But the Giants scored a run, and then the Rays scored a run. And then the Giants scored 2 runs, and then the Rays scored 2 runs. And then the Giants scored 3 runs, and then the Rays scored 3 runs. Every single thing the Giants did was answered last night until they just had nothing else to make the Rays answer for. And then the Rays end up pulling it out and winning it in the 9th inning against Randy Rodriguez, who continues to learn the hard lesson about how the 9th inning is not the same as the 7th inning. So yeah, last night felt like a new kind of rock bottom for a team that is just absent of all answers any way, shape, or form.
I think the baseball enthusiasts would refer to that as bad or lack of shutdown performances on the part of the Giants, who staked, believe it or not, their pitchers to significant leads, but were unable to hold on to them. I got to tell you, 6 runs after 3 innings, what the hell was I watching? Who was that?
I'm starting to think like, wow, maybe they figured something out. It was pretty dismal on Wednesday afternoon. And I think, John Shea, who's been just a star in these post-game press conferences, covers the Giants for the San Francisco Standard, longtime SF Chronicle columnist, and just a great guy to talk baseball with. He has had some great stuff. And on Wednesday, he just kind of asked, where do the Giants go from here? And Bob Melvin, who is just in one of the most defeated voices you'll hear, is just, we gotta come back to the next game and just try to win a game. They are so just empty on answers. No one has any clue as to why this is happening.
Exactly.
As to how to fix what is happening. It's mainly at home, too. You look at the home road splits, Dan, they can't do squat right at home, but they're, relatively competitive on the road. They're in this stretch where they have lost 14 of their last 15 at home, which, if that doesn't make you throw up in your mouth a little bit saying out loud, then I don't know where you're at today. They're 6-6 on the road in that time. They're hitting .207 at home during this 1-14 stretch. And yet they are hitting, .203 at home, not .207. I gave them a hit there. They're hitting .274 on the road in that time. The home road splits for these guys is insane. And I know we love to blame the ballpark. The ballpark's not this much of a factor.
Yeah, I would agree. And the fact that you're still getting a loyal 35 to 38,000 fans that are showing up every day, I think because of that is typically why you're going to see changes, or usually you will see managerial changes. Let's just cut to the chase. Bob Melvin's job is very much in doubt. It's a high wire act from him, and I think it's going from game to game and week to week. Now, I know that he was just re-upped, but I'm willing to put it out there, and it might be even odds as to whether he makes it through the season if we continue with this pace. Now, I don't mean to take gloves off and go after Bob Melvin, because we all know he's a good manager. But when you are playing like this, and it's sort of a head scratch, and it's inexplicable, you got a roster that is, when you look at it 1 through 9, maybe it's, you're not winning the World Series, but certainly should be much more competitive than it is. You got a payroll north of $200 million, so you've spent the money. But then you look at all the little things, and as they like to say, you can't fire the whole team, but somebody has got to take the axe.
People want blood.
They do. And I don't know if it's necessarily a sacrificial lamb or give me my 8 pounds of flesh, as much as we need a change. We need to change the culture of this team, of the clubhouse. We need to get re-energized because this is not working. And so he becomes somewhat of a sacrificial lamb in that regard. Because Bob Melvin, listen, he didn't get stupid overnight. He knows baseball. But somebody has to go just to, once again, revamp what I think should be a competitive baseball team. But if you're tuning in and if you want me to point a finger, because we love to do this, right? Team goes south. It's either the coach, it's the manager, gloves off, get Steve Kerr the hell out of town. See you later, Shanahan. So long, Bob Melvin. And yes, Bob Melvin has been part of the problem, but is he the exclusive reason? No. But again, I think you make changes for the sake of just that, making a change to absolutely reverse what has taken place over the last 2 months, and that is a team that I think should be much better than what it is their one-loss record indicates.
I agree. And it's not that this team looks better than I think what their win-loss record would indicate. It's the fact that, Dan, they played so much better than this just earlier this year. So it's like, it's one thing if it's just kind of been a struggle or a grind all season long, and they're trying to figure this out, and it's just like, why is what we saw in spring training never come together? This was a team that got off to a 19-10 start in April. And, hot starts are hot starts. Sometimes with a small sample size, guys will look really good in April before they regress back to their numbers, or teams will get off to great starts. I remember there was a time during the 2010s where it seemed like every year the Rockies would get off to a great start in April, and then they would do the Rockies thing the rest of the year and lose. So a lot of times you see things in April that, aren't real. But what we saw from the Giants in April, granted, a small sample size, we saw approaches that look sustainable. We saw a form of baseball that's just like, if they do this, like, they're going to win a lot of baseball games. They were moving on the bases. They were stealing bases. They were doing hit and runs. They were hitting the opposite field. Those aren't like, oh, you're just in a hot stretch kind of things. Those are strategic decisions this team was making in terms of how they wanted to win baseball games early in the year that were actually working. And coming off of a spring training where everyone's talked about how great the vibes are, how, great every day at camp was. There's the Bob Melvin line about, players are wearing their jerseys at camp because they were just so excited to be here. And you hear that every day consistently, you start to believe it for a second. You start to think it's true because we had every right to believe that it was true. And you start to leak oil in May. You get Rafi Devers. That's kind of supposed to plug up that leak. And from the high of, being tied with the Dodgers at first place going into Father's Day weekend, acquiring Rafael Devers, everyone saying how the Giants look like contenders now, to being where we're at right now, Giants fans have every right to be frustrated, disappointed, furious, angry, cursing at their TV, booing this team off the field, which I believe they did on Tuesday or Wednesday. Steven Risotto, you were there at all the Padres games. Was there booing off the field? Refresh my memory on that one.
There's some booing on Tuesday night, not really Wednesday afternoon, but definitely Tuesday and Monday. There was some slight boos whenever they'd strand runners or do something of that degree.
So, that's where things are at here, Dan. And why I say rock bottom is because it takes a lot, I think, for Giants fans to boo their team off the field. I can only remember a few times in my lifetime that I've been at games where a guy or the team was booed off the field. Giants fans don't usually do that because we love our team so much. We're going to grasp at any straw of hope there, any ray of light that can make us feel better. Matt Chapman last night is saying, we're only 5 games out, and it's not crazy, but it's also crazy.
Well put. Yes, I would agree. The Bay Area doesn't boo. I just got back from New York. They boo in New York.
I think they wake up in the morning and start
they're
booing.
booing on the way to the ballpark. The way the Mets and the Yankees right now are just taking the pipe. Both of them are circling the drain. But just getting back to the Giants. Thank you very much, Pasta.
Start spreading the news.
If it was, it was an aberration at the beginning of the season. But just think about it. As you mentioned, the beginning of the year, nobody's hit their stride. What's up is down. What's down is up. If it wasn't for what has turned out to be this unusual hot start of the season for the Giants, where would they be? You're talking about one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
If they don't get off to that 11 or 12-4 start.
They started 8-1. They were 19-10 at one point. Yeah, if they're a 500 team in April, they are 4 games below 500 right now, I believe. Yeah, 59-63 is their record. If you turn those 9 games over 500 at the end of April into a 500 record, yeah, you're probably a 53 and 68 win team or something like that right now, which you're still ahead of the Rockies, but
if that's your claim to fame, then that speaks volumes.
You're hanging out with the Braves, Nationals, and Pirates, basically.
Exactly. I would also, when you talk about the Rafi Devers trade and how that was supposed to point him in the right direction, Pasta, you can double check me, and maybe you know this off the top of your head, Sam, but I want to say that they've had the worst record in baseball since the Devers trade. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But since Devers joined this team, the San Francisco Giants have the worst record in baseball. I'm going to get even louder if I happen to be right, Pasta, but it's sort of inexplicable at the end of the day. I get it. I understand. I've been doing this long enough, and I'm talking about being a fan. that you want to instinctively point a finger at somebody, right? Pat Burrell was on the hot seat.
It's a very easy punching bag these days.
Bob Melvin, Elliot Ramos, everybody's got a take. And one of the reasons why I will hold out hope, and yes, I'm that lunatic in the room right now, is because, and Sam, stay with me on this, because I think you might be one of the few guys to at least understand what it is that I'm saying.
I'm a pretty cultured individual, Dan. I think I can take it.
You know what it is? It's baseball. And as weird as that may sound, this sport is so damn frustrating and doesn't make sense. And sometimes it's a head scratch, and you look around and you're like, well, I got to blame somebody. It's very similar, but on the other end of the spectrum, of all the success they had in 2021, I dare anybody to explain that to me, how that team won 106 games. But much like what they're doing this year, this game oftentimes makes no sense to any of us at the end of the day. And while they're not good, they're not this bad. And a perfect example, bases loaded, nobody out in the eighth inning last night. But Pat Bailey had solid contact. Now, I get it. The infield's in, but he had a high velo on that ball on his exit velocity.
That was 99 off the bat, had a 520 expected batting average.
How many times have we seen that this year, though? And I listen, I'm not saying that, but sometimes the baseball gods just say, screw you, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I know we want something a little bit more substantial, but that's all I got at this juncture.
Credit to Brandon Lowe, who made a hell of a diving catch on that Bailey line drive there. And this is where I'm at, Dan. You know, when that happened, bases loaded, nobody out, I turned to the people sitting next to me, in the press box. There's some people from the other stations.
I don't think you're alone.
I turned to them and said, well, bases loaded, nobody out. We tried, guys. Maybe we'll get a run next inning.
I'm going to go get a Coke.
And then the worst part was, Dan, is how right I was. I thought it was going to be the strikeout double play combo. That's the one I went with, of how they were going to blow it. And, of course, they did it even worse. You had the Bailey line out there, which when that happened, it was like, well, whatever, these next two at-bats aren't going anywhere. And then poor Drew Gilbert, grounder to third base, get the fielder's choice out at home. Elliot Ramos, grounder to third, fielder's choice out at second. And it's like, what the hell just happened here? Like, I didn't want to be right, but I was, and I hated it. So,
don't you get the feeling that if the bases are loaded and the infield's drawn in and nobody's out, usually if you're cheering for the teams at the plate, you're like, oh my God, this is such a great situation. Infield's in. We got so many opportunities. Now for the Giants, if that infield comes in, don't you get the sense they're going to hit it right at somebody?
For a team that loves to try to be homer happy and hit the fly ball as much as they can, suddenly, in those situations where you don't want a ground ball, that's all they want to hit is ground balls. It's so frustrating being a Giants fan right now. Shout out to those who are watching on YouTube. Brought to you by First NorCal Credit Union. For a low-rate auto loan, apply online or just ask First NorCal Financing at the dealer. Instant and just no. I see you guys there. Glad to have you guys with us. Bennett, I see you as well. 888-957-9570 is the number to call. You can also text us on the Boxer and Gersten Work Injury Attorneys text line. Remember, here on the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap, we take any and all Giants takes, and we want to hear from you, Giants fans. What's going on with this team? How did we get here? Everyone has been asked, or a lot of people on this team have been asked, why is this team struggling so much? And no one really seems to have a clear-cut answer. And I want to dive into that a little bit more because I have theories on why there is no clear-cut answer. And I'd love to hear from the fans' theories as to why there is no clear-cut answer here. Because it's vexing how a team could be so good at one point and then just so bad. It makes no sense how an organization that prides itself with success at its beautiful home ballpark has put up the worst performance stretch in San Francisco baseball history. Yeah, this again, you're going back to 1901, the Polo Grounds. It was like one of the older versions of the Polo Grounds. So it's as dismal as it has ever been. Richard in El Cabrande, he's got some theories as to why the Giants suck. Richard, how you doing, man? You are on the Wrap.
I'm doing good. Really enjoying you guys listening. I really enjoy listening to you guys talk sports. It really makes my Saturday morning. Thanks.
Awesome. Appreciate that.
Hey, Dan stole my thunder, honestly, because that's all I got. There's no explanation for why they're playing the way they are. I mean, Bob Melvin is not that bad a manager. He's not. Look at his history. I guess you could say nobody's this bad a manager, but the lineup they have, it makes no sense. The only thing that makes sense is what Dan was alluding to. The universe is collecting receipts in 21. That's the only thing that makes sense. Look at 2021. Everybody had a career year. It made no sense, just like this year makes no sense. It was a different kind of not making sense. It didn't make sense that they were playing as well as they were playing, that they were winning all those games. And you want to talk about managers? You think Gabe Kaplan is the greatest manager in Giants history? I mean, he was the manager of that team. And now it's like all the things that went his way are not going Bob Melvin's way. So I just don't think you can, dive into the stats. And that's the only thing that makes sense. The universe is collecting receipts. That's all I got.
Richard, I don't disagree with you. There is some probably receipt collecting there. The baseball gods might be punishing the Giants for some sort of hubris that was once, put out there by this team. What Richard's saying there, the moment I thought about this week, there's two moments actually that took part this week. And that was on Tuesday night when I forget who it was on the Padres hit a ground ball to first base that bounced off of first base and rolled into right field for a hit. And then on Wednesday, there's a ground ball at Willard Dibs that in the second inning that would have turned into an inning-ending double play that bounced off second base, skipped over his head for a base hit, and that ended up kind of kicking off that 7-run rally there. Dan, I have not seen a baseball just hit a base like that since the 2012 World Series, Game 1. When that happened, I believe it was like the first or second inning the Giants did. I forget who it was who hit the ball off the top of my head. But yeah, I had not seen a ball just hit a base like that since 2012. And then I see it happen in back-to-back days against the Giants. Like, that feels like the baseball gods just being like, hey, watch this. I'm going to screw with these guys. And then just going to town.
There's been a lot of that this year. A lot of it. And I'm not saying that it's beyond their control, but it's beginning to feel that way. By the way, just a shout out to the 415. I don't reference the text line all that frequently, but wow, good knowledge. Johnny LeMaster, who actually took the field in a San Francisco Giant game with the word boo replacing LeMaster on the back of his jersey because he used to be the target out there as Mr. E6, just a bad defender, could not hit, one of the worst shortstop for the Giants. His brother, by the way, a linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So, listen, usually, Sam, when something like this happens, you got to look internally. Like, if you look at the team, you're like, God, this is a good baseball team. What's going on? Usually something's amiss internally. Like, there's something that's not visible to us, which is usually incumbent on the reporters, the people that follow the team to get in there and find out what's going on. And to a man, people, and I'm talking about the team, responded in a positive vein when Bob Melvin was extended. There seemed to be complete camaraderie with Willard Dibs at the eye of that storm at the beginning of the campaign. So this sort of goes beyond any sort of comprehension. We can all have our theories, but unlike years past, you can't just point at Farhan, or you can't just point at a couple of positions and saying, well, you obviously need help here. And speaking of Farhan and speaking of Gabe Kapler, Sam, during their run, it was never this bad. I'm willing to argue over the last 4 to 5 years, we have never saw a stretch like this.
Dan, we haven't seen a stretch like this in, what's the year, 2025? We haven't seen a stretch like this in 124 years.
Yeah, there you go.
Again, 14-15 at home. 1901 was when this happened. So, yeah, no, we have not. We saw some doozies during the Kapler era. There was a time where I think the Dodgers won 8 straight or something at this ballpark. That was a doozy. But, Dan, I remember watching, 2017, this team lost 98 games. And even they still figured out ways to eventually win games at home. And that team it wasn't that they were bad. It's just every team they played was just that much better than them. But it's funny you mentioned Johnny LeMaster. Times are bad when Johnny LeMaster's name gets brought up, probably one of the worst Giants ever. And I threw a fun little nugget at Steven Risotto the other day. Johnny LeMaster had a career OPS of around 570.
Really?
The Giants at home since July 1st.
We would take Johnny LeMaster today.
Have a 590 OPS. So the Giants as a team at Oracle Park are hitting a couple ticks better than Johnny LeMaster.
I've had enough.
When you go to the ballpark since July 1st, what you're basically seeing is a team of Johnny LeMasters. That is why I say the words rock bottom. Whenever you start getting Johnny LeMaster comps, oh man, Johnny.
It's the LeMasters taking the field today.
Johnny Disaster, as they would call him, as we are coming to you live from the Laughing Monk Studios. Laughing Monk, righteously brewed in San Francisco. We got a lot of, I would say great Giants talk, but no, I'm just calling it Giants talk today. We're going to talk about Bob Melvin, Matt Chapman. He is on the injured list. Casey Schmidt, is he going to be on the injured list? We're going to talk about that as well. Landon Roop made his return to the mound last night. We can talk about some positive things. We won't really dive too deep into his start because we want to keep it positive with him. But we're going to see if we can find something positive. But Giants fans, yeah, again, 888-957-9570 is the number. I want to hear from you. How did it get to this point? How did we get here? If there is a moment this year that you could undo, what would it be? Take any and all Giants takes this morning on the show. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. That's Dan Devone. I'm Sam Lubman. All of this is brought to you by Fremont Bank, here for you, here for good.
This Labor Day weekend, be road trip ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. No appointment needed. Stay in your car while they change your oil and check your tires, battery, and fluids before you head down the coast or over the Golden Gate. Visit BayAreaOilChange.com.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because they're a school for real life. At UMGC, an accredited state university, you can earn up to 90 credits towards a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits towards a master's. UMGC offers skill-based programs, low-cost tuition, and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by September 3rd. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu.
Texting terms at unlock.com/SMS. Privacy policy at unlock.com/privacy-policy. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Terms and conditions apply. For full details, see unlock.com/legal after portrayal.
Lisa, thanks for having me over. Your new kitchen is gorgeous. How'd you find the money to do it?
We worked with this great company, Unlock. They help you unlock the future value of your home to get the cash you need today.
So it's a home equity loan?
No, it's not a loan at all. There's no monthly payments and no interest charges ever. And you can use the money however you want. We were able to redo our kitchen and pay off our credit card debt.
Wow, Jack and I could really use this to finally pay off our old student loan debt. How do I get started?
It's easy. Just go to their website.
Text EQUITY to 865-865 to unlock the value in your home and get up to $500,000 in cash with no monthly payments and no interest ever. Pay off debt, improve your home, add to your retirement fund. It's up to you. Text EQUITY to 865-865. Text the word EQUITY to 865-865. Text EQUITY to 865-865 now.
Kohl's Back to School sale is here with deals on looks your kids will love all year. Because even though they're sad summer is ending, let's be real, some of us are ready. It's time to trade the all-day PJs and always damp swimsuits for styles that'll keep up and hold up, so your kids will be ready too. Shop Kohl's Back to School sale and bring on the new year. Select styles, prices good through August 17th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Now it's time for the closer of the week. Presented by LiftMaster and R&S Doors. Turn your garage into the envy of the neighborhood. Visit rnsdoors.com.
This week's closer comes from Marianne in San Mateo. Aaron Hagen replaced my garage door opener motor, keypad, and remote control today. He was amazingly courteous and efficient, arrived promptly, and was super personable. I highly recommend him and R&S.
Recently, my garage door opener was not working. I was in need of a closer. I was put in touch with R&S Doors, and they hooked me up with a brand new garage door opener from LiftMaster. With LiftMaster's MyQ connectivity, my garage door opener can be controlled right from my smartphone. You'll know when a door or gate has been left open and can close it with a tap, no matter where I am. Be one of the first 10 callers and receive 20% off a LiftMaster garage door opener.
Call 1-800-FIX-A-DOOR. That's 800-FIX-A-DOOR. Or visit rsdoors.com. R&S Doors. Look for the red truck.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
What is your next success story? At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can succeed again with more than 135 affordable online degrees and certificates to help you move your career forward. From cybersecurity and AI to healthcare and MBA, our programs help you build critical thinking, leadership, and communication skills that set you apart in today's job market. Apply now and save with no application fee through September 3rd. Visit umgc.edu to get started. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bring home Smurfs on digital now. In this fun, epic adventure, the Smurfs team up with new friends on a daring rescue mission to save Papa Smurf. Available at participating retailers. From Paramount Pictures. For a chance to win a digital copy, enter online at 957thegame.com.
This should do it. And that's the ball game. So the Rays come in here on a Friday night. Giants, really the opportunity for them was in the 8th inning, and they let that one slip away. And what the Giants needed, the Rays got in the top of the 9th, and that was a big hit.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
This is some wild music to play for that call right there.
That's what I love about Pasta. He never makes sense. He just
really doesn't. No,
you just roll with it.
Oh, who cares?
We're at rock bottom. Another dismal loss. Let's get some 50 swinging music though. There we go.
That's so him.
Oh, we're
It's
feeling
Elvis.
it. Get some Elvis going. Which Elvis song is this? Why am I not knowing it off the top of my head?
Ain't nothing but a hound dog.
It is Hound Dog. That's what I thought. I should know more about Elvis. I used to be really into Elvis back in high school. My grandma was a big Elvis fan.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. She had so
She been to
many Elvis
Graceland?
fans. I don't know if she ever did. My grandma Dot, R.I.P. I got her on my phone case. That's me and her right there, little
awesome.
me. Yeah. But yeah, no, she was a big Elvis fan. She gave me this big Elvis box set years ago. I have no idea where it is, but yeah, that's kind of what got me.
I was just
into
thinking
Elvis.
about this the other day. Not that any of us, and especially if you're a star, you're somebody that reached the stature like that of an Elvis Presley, but going out at a young age like that, especially pre-social media and internet, it's sort of a rarity in today's world. Think about it. JFK, I don't know why he came. Are they doing a special on him on CNN or something? There's been a lot of sort of stories about
Everyone's getting
JFK.
specials
But
these days.
JFK went out. My lasting memory is this good-looking guy who's in the political arena, and I know that that can be really divisive. But if they stayed on a little bit longer, rest assured, people would have sunk their teeth into Elvis Presley. Something would have gone viral. Like if it was Elvis Presley today, let's just say Elvis Presley died or like a week ago. The image and the iconic feeling we have for Elvis Presley would be so tainted because there would have been so many stories, or he would have said something politically incorrect
unearthed
online.
some mean tweets. Yeah.
Yes, there would have been some sort of controversy from his past that we wouldn't have been privy to.
Let me tell you, I don't really
media.
like these immigration policies. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
Something like that.
There's something to be said about a pristine image back in the day, just staying that way in our memory bank forever.
So he basically went before anything bad could happen.
Exactly.
Get out, you leave them wanting more, I guess, something like that. So So apparently my grandma, this is from my mom, she's texting me in, my grandma never visited Graceland, but she did save the dress that she wore when she went and saw him perform in Vegas. So that is how deep my grandma's Elvis fandom would go there. How deep is Giants fandom going these days? 34,000 people were at the game last night. And apparently, I guess that was the smallest Friday night crowd we have seen all year long. And you're hearing the Giants players. They're bringing up the fans a lot. Bob Melvin said this on Sunday, and I read this as a bit of a challenge or a call out. But here's what Bob Melvin had to say. He was asked about Justin Verlander's 3,500th career strikeout, which woo. But this is what Bob had to say in regards to just giving the fans nothing else. This was again last Sunday after the Giants lost to the Nationals 8-0.
I mean, we got 40,000 people here. We don't give them anything to root for the entire game other than that. So unfortunately, that probably is as disappointing game we've had all year. Back to JV, strikes out the side in the first and has that moment. That was great. But, he's got a lot of accomplishments, a lot of stripes.
That's a lot of stress there in that sniff there from Bob Melvin. And you had 38,000 fans at each of these Padres games. Fans are still showing up, and the players are noticing it. The players are mentioning just how they're not giving the fans anything to cheer for, and they know it, they feel it, and that just kind of adds to the frustration of what's going wrong. Like when Elliot Ramos was asked, this was after the loss on Tuesday night, that was a 5-1 loss on Tuesday night to the Padres. He was asked what's going wrong, and he gave us this gem of a soundbite.
It's just not happening. It's just frustrating. I don't know what to tell you, honestly. It's just not happening. That's it. You have to get it done.
It's just not happening. That's it. Jonathan Kuminga's been saying something similar about his contract, too. It's just not happening. That's it. Got to get it done.
This will be the one show where we don't. JK gets left at the door. We won't do JK. But
I mean, that's what Kyle Shanahan's saying about having healthy receivers. It's just not happening. It's just not there.
I know what you're doing.
You got to get it done.
I know what you're. This is how coaches get fired. Again, I'm not going after Bob Melvin. I'm just saying that because as the president of baseball ops, your obligation is to the fan base. And when they're turning out like this, you cannot put a product like this on the field. And if you do, then it's almost, again, getting back to what I said at the beginning of the show, somebody has to go because it's almost like a shot across the bow. You have to let everybody know, that being this faithful consumer base that's showing out, that I hear you and I recognize that this isn't good enough. And I'm letting you know that we are going to make changes because what it is that we're providing every day is not enough. And I hear you is essentially why typically you'll see a change like this. That I understand as the manager or as the president of baseball ops, I hear you who are spending all this amount of money to come here and watch your team, and I am making a change almost exclusively, or at least that's largely influencing what it is that I'm doing, because we cannot continually maintain the status quo here, which is far, far below what it is that you deserve.
No, I mean, again, there are 40 games left in the season.
Does Bob Melvin make it to the finish line?
Yeah, so this is where I'm kind of going here. There's 100. So it's played 122 games now. There's 40 games left in the year, and half of them are going to be at home, half of them are going to be on the road, roughly. And the fact they're playing good on the road, at least, is kind of like a salvation of sorts. Because again, you could make the theory of, well, you get on the road, maybe you get hot there and bring that back home. As we, frantically grasp at straws that aren't there. But I'm like, you cannot make this fan base go another 40 games of dealing with this. Like, this cannot continue. Like, this home performance cannot continue, Dan. I mentioned the home road splits in our last segment here. Again, this team, in these last 15 home games, they've lost 14 of them. Again, not done since 1901, when President William McKinley was in the Oval Office. Boy, wouldn't it be great to have him back. They are hitting 203 as a team in those 15 home games. Conversely, on that same stretch, by the way, this stretch goes back to the Saturday loss against the Dodgers when the Dodgers were in town. Remember, the Giants won that Friday night game, and everyone was feeling good. They won 3 of 4 against the Dodgers and Phillies. Giants are on top of the world. Ralphie Devers coming around. Matt Chapman's coming back. We're all happy. All-star break. Yay, woo! And then the Giants lost that Saturday. That was game 1 of these 15 games. So this is since July 12th. And in the road, they've played 12 road games. They're 6-6 on the road, hitting 274. A lot of that damage coming against the Braves, Pirates, and Mets, not against the Blue Jays. But check out these insane home road splits during that time. Dom Smith, who has hit safely in, I believe, 15 of his last 16 games. He's doing great. He's hitting 333 at home, 323 on the road. No, I have nothing for Dom Smith. 10 out of 10, no notes. You're doing great, Dom. Keep at it. Thanks for coming on the roast. Jung-Hoo Lee, who is actually not hitting horribly the last month and a half. I know we don't like to give Jung-Hoo Lee credit for anything these days. Jung-Hoo Lee's hitting 255 during this home stretch here, 311 on the road. Patrick Bailey hitting 229 at home over this stretch, 306 on the road. Casey Schmidt, 227 at home versus 244 on the road. By the way, Casey Schmidt, X-rays negative on the wrist there. They're calling it a right wrist contusion right now. He took a hit by pitch in the 8th inning last night, had to leave the game. He was down for a minute, Dan. It hit him right, it looked like on like the forearm there between the wrist and the elbow. I'm holding up here on the YouTube chat the spot of the arm that it hit, and it's on the side of your right forearm. If anyone's listening out there, the side of your right forearm between your wrist and your elbow, if you touch that part, you feel the bone right there. Yeah, that's basically where Casey Schmidt got hurt, which this is a long-winded way of saying, ow. Wilmer Flores hitting 200 at home, 357 on the road. Elliot Ramos, and this is where it starts to get kind of crazy, 197 at home, 367 on the road. Willie Adames, 193 at home, and he had a great night last night, a home run, a stolen base. He had been 1 for his last 22 on this homestand prior to last night. He's hitting 245 on the road in this stretch. Matt Chapman, who's on the injured list, we'll talk about that in a minute. 180 at home, 214 on the road. And then, of course, Ralphie Devers, 161 at home, 327 on the road. Like, again, I know that this ballpark is difficult to hit in, but it's not that difficult to hit in. The ballpark effect is not that significant. And when you talk about you cannot make these fans go through this, like that is what you cannot make these fans keep going through. It is just unconscionable to put your fan base through this. And I do like that the players are aware of it. They're bringing it up. They're mentioning it. They're caring about it. And I do want to make no bones about this, Giants fans. These guys do care. They are showing up every day. They are trying to win. They are trying to put a good product on the field. This idea that these guys are just loafing around, they don't care. No, I'm not acknowledging any of that. These guys do very much care. They are trying as hard as they possibly can. It's just not coming to fruition right now. But like something has to change. And that's where, yeah, I understand why the fervor to fire Bob Melvin gets louder and louder with every day. I want to go to the lines here, 888-957-9570. Scott is in, I think is that Pacheco, Patelco? I'm not sure. Were you at the game last night, Scott? You're on the wrap.
No, I wasn't at the game yesterday. I watched it somewhere around the middle of the game, and I said, wow, a tie ball game. It became interesting and went a few innings tied, and, until they knocked that run in, and I thought it was going to, be a good finish. And it could have been, with that double Devers hit. He hustled around and made it to second, and it's like, all right, we're in business, and then it just petered out from there. But, there was something in the eighth there that just didn't seem like good baseball. I'm watching the catcher hold the ball as if it was a strike when the ump calls it a ball, and he did that over and over and over, and that's just not good baseball. You're watching that, and it's just not the sport of the game, and then there was that Jung-Hoo Lee. He could have thrown that guy out at first that didn't tag up, and he kind of had this little weird double hop, and the ball tailed off, and they didn't get that out, and it sort of just went downhill from there. You'd think Bob Melvin could just sort of inspire these guys. I mean, that's the job of the managers, to inspire these guys. Hey, we got a leadoff double. Let's get out there and get it done. But it just doesn't seem that it's happening. Maybe he's just burned out. I don't know. What do you think?
I think the burnout thought is definitely there's some meat on that bone there, Scott. Thank you very much for the call. I think
we got to teach Scott what framing is.
I mean, Patrick Bayless, the one thing you can do. I wish he could frame pitches that he was seeing, as a batter. Patrick Bailey, I want to put a team-wide ban on flipping a bat after a walk, because the amount of times that this dude has tried to flip a bat on what he thought was ball 4 but was actually strike 3, like, that to me is worse than flipping your bat on a fly ball that doesn't leave the park. Well, first off, why are we flipping our bats on walks to begin with? That's not a flex. You drew a walk, go down to first base. But then when you flip a bat and it's a strikeout, like, no, you have lost your bat flipping privileges for the rest of your life. If you ever draw a walk, set the bat gently down on the plate and go walk towards first base and let the bat boy come do his job. I'm tired of the bat flips there. Like, it's ridiculous there. It's not cool. It's not fun.
You know why?
Stop.
You know why they do that, or why he does that? They're trying, because usually it's a borderline call, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to induce the ump. It's really similar to like Elliot Ramos, who immediately starts to take off his knee guard and then gets rung up.
Oh, no, a lot of guys would do that, yeah.
So the bat flip is just sort of what it is that he does, where he thinks that the ump is going to be influenced by that. It's clearly a walk. He's already headed to first base. He's letting the ump know that was ball 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's my reason.
I get why they're doing it, but like, you're not good enough to do this. You know what was really cool back in the day? Was when Buster Posey was in the squat and he would catch strike 3 and start heading to the dugout before the umpire called strike 3. That's called swagger. That's called being a badass. When you're flipping your bat on strike 3, that's called you're not doing baseball good. And stop doing it, please, because it's embarrassing.
Isn't that the same thing though, but just reverse?
Well, okay, but if Buster's doing it and it's ball 4, then yeah, it's an issue. But when Buster did it, it was actually strike 3. You know what I mean?
I mean, fair enough, but I'm sure he's done it for ball 4 before.
Well, you know what? There's a lot less video of that, and I didn't see it happen 3 times in a game this week.
Ball 4, great book, by the way.
Ball 4, back in the day, that was...
Grant Balfour.
Yeah.
Balfour Rage.
So, being out of San Francisco, sometimes I can lend this perspective from the other side of the coast, to the other side of the world sometimes, and it's, the one play that got replayed time and time again this past week that is sort of etched in my memory. It was Elliot Ramos missing the cutoff or holding on to the ball and grounding the thing, and Willie Adames had to race over and slide. And then usually it's followed up by the Giants have hit, your favorite phrase, rock bottom.
Yep.
But it was that one play that I saw from Sky Sports out in London to New York Sports, and it was followed immediately by what's wrong with San Francisco. This team is, and I think when you see something like that immediately, if you don't live in the area and you're thinking about the San Francisco Giants just momentarily, they're just flashing to your head, is like, that team's a mess. Elliot Ramos is throwing, I mean, how fundamental is this?
Yeah, so, and Rizzo, if we can get Bob Melvin's explanation for what went wrong on that Ramos throw the other day, which the explanation made it so much worse.
It compounded things.
Honestly, I would have just said, the ball slipped. Like, it happens sometimes. Sometimes you're throwing a ball, your hand's sweaty, it just slips out of your hand. Just say that. It's ridiculous. Yes, you're going to end up on SportsCenter, not top 10. You're going to have to take your lumps there. But when we get Bob's answer up there, which just made it completely worse, like, it does. It feels like that play was a microcosm for how this season has gone so far. Rizzo, when you have it, just start playing it and we'll stop talking. But
that response, it's almost as if Bob Melvin was self-incriminating himself. That's the reason why managers get fired. Well, just simply because you were positioned improperly, well, that's on you. That's exactly what it is that we're talking about here, the little things. You know who the Giants have become? They are the complete antithesis of the Milwaukee Brewers. You know what the Milwaukee Brewers do? Well, everything.
Yep. They're a very smart organization.
They run the bases well. They pitch well. They hit just enough home runs. They do all the little things well. And San Francisco needs... I'm sure there's a lot of teams in Major League Baseball that look at the Milwaukee Brewers and they should say to themselves, Buster Posing Company, that's who we need to be. They're not loaded with stars. For crying out loud, we took their shortstop, their best player a year ago. And here they are with just the guys who know how to play the game from a fundamental standpoint. And that's where San Francisco needs to get back to.
No, and again, the Brewers are one of the best run organizations in baseball right now. By the way, Rizzo, JT26, if we can get that one on the board, we can kind of get into what Bob said about the Ramos play there. But that's what's kind of so even more frustrating, Dan,
talking
about all
about
this.
Ramos, in his defense, he's throwing to second base, and we're double cut, and we're in the wrong spot as far as the cutoff and relays go. So he's throwing the ball to second base, sees that nobody's there, and it came out of his hand. So it wasn't his fault. It was more how we were positioned for the cutoff. And then the ball gets by, Bailey over his head, and it just looks bad. The way we've been playing, it looks horrible. Now it's all of a sudden it's 7-0, and we're in the second inning, and the way we've been playing, it's just a miserable feeling.
I'll say it, he's an idiot.
Oh, ow. It's not his fault. It's everybody's fault. That's where oh, my God. It just makes it so much worse.
Yeah, maybe he's taking one for the team.
Yeah, no, Ramos didn't throw the ball bad. No one else was doing their job. And this was after Bob Melvin called out this team for giving this fan base nothing to root for. And then they go and get outscored 20-3 in 3 games against the Padres. And then John Shea, our friend at the SF Standard, been a superstar in these press conferences of late, asked the simple question, where do the San Francisco Giants go from here? This was after the game on Wednesday. This is what Bob had to say.
We just got to concentrate on winning a game, not worry about the standings, not worry about where the wild card is. Playing a clean game and winning a game and getting back to playing clean baseball. So, at this point in time, we have to go inning to inning, game to game, not worry about the standings at this point.
Yeah, just focus on winning a game because that's hard enough as it is. They're not worrying about the standings anymore. Where do they go? Can they just try and win? They tried to last night, and there was a brief moment where you thought that they would, actually win, which was a crazy thought to think. And then they stopped scoring, and you realize when they didn't score in the 8th inning, Dan, you knew the Rays are about to win this here in the 9th. This game was over going into the top of the 9th inning. And then afterwards, the game we're doing the presser, and I asked Bob, just how's everyone handling this right now? What's the morale? What's the mood of this team? And here's what he had to say.
Well, look, everybody's feeling it right now, especially at home. You lose games, and you lose multiple games, and you lose them in different fashions. It's not a great feeling, but I think we take the field every day in good spirits, and you got to do it again the next day, unfortunately.
Got to go out there the next day, unfortunately. That's right. Unfortunately, the Giants have to take the field today. This is, again, when I keep hearing people say things like, Ramos, what's wrong with this team?
It's just not happening. It's just frustrating. I don't know what to tell you, honestly. It's just not happening. That's it. You have to get it done.
Hey, Logan Webb, what's going on with this team?
I couldn't tell you the answer. I don't know. I honestly, no clue.
And then I see the manager coming out with we have to take the field, unfortunately. We just got to figure out how to win a game. We're not saying the quiet part out loud, and that is there is a frustration with this team and this coaching staff that if there is a message being delivered from this coaching staff to the players, it's not being heard. It's not being delivered correctly. There is just, I think, a complete failure of leadership right now being seen on this team. And I'm sure if you truth serumed everyone in this clubhouse, coaching staff too, they would admit this as well, because you cannot be a professional in this game. You cannot be a leader in this game and be okay with the performance that is happening right now. And so when I keep hearing everyone saying, I don't know, it just tells me that either they really don't know, which is frightening in its own right, or they just don't want to say that we've lost faith in our leadership.
They
just don't want to say that part out loud.
Ramos is going to say, well, Bob Melvin's got to go.
No, and honestly, no one's really going to say that. Or I don't know what that comment does look like. And again, I think these guys are professional enough that they're not going to just drag their manager through the dirt. And I do respect that, because it's, say what you will about Bob's performance this year, he does have respect in this game. And I do think this team does respect Bob Melvin and this coaching staff. They're not going to just, even if it's deserved or not, they're not going to drag him. But at the same time, it's painfully evident that what's going on here in this clubhouse is just I don't know if there's buy-in right now. And these guys are out there with no enthusiasm, no spark, it just seems like there's no hope on every day. And maybe a couple wins changes the mood there, because I do think there is a mental component to this. We can get into this on the other side. But at the end of the day, it's an unconscionable performance of leadership by this team. And when we talk about the things that frustrate me the most, that's definitely up there, because I know Bob Melvin's better than this.
Well, see, this is when usually when you see a team playing like this and you look at the 1 through 9 and you're like, well, this is a good roster. What's going on? Typically there's something that's beyond the curtain, or it's not visible to us, and there's some sort of internal situation that we're not privy to. But almost to a man, and I don't know this, I'm not in the locker room, but almost to a man, that when Bob Melvin got extended, there was complete support and buy-in on this guy. Usually you're able to detect dissension, or if there is cancer in that clubhouse, a little bit sooner. But that's why, again, it's easy to point a finger at Bob Melvin, and he's part of the problem, but I don't know if he's the exclusive culprit. And so I know we all want to point a finger and saying this is the reason why and give our takes. But at the end of the day, I implore anybody to convince me and come strong and support this with data and precedents as to what's wrong with the San Francisco Giants, because you can't do it because nobody knows.
Yeah, and I think you make an interesting point there. And maybe there is some desire to still rally behind Bob for this team. We get into that a little bit more on the other side. Plus also some thoughts on Chapman, Devers, Adames. Why don't you get into those three as well? Mitch, I see you. You're in New Jersey. We're going to get to you on the other side. All this brought to you by Fremont Bank, here for you, here for good.
Shopping for a new car is fun. Shopping for financing, not fun. Luckily, First NorCal Credit Union can help. With rates as low as 4.75% APR, you can save big by skipping the dealer financing and applying their rebates to your down payment. Visit firstnorcalcu.org to apply. Must qualify for membership. Rates subject to change without notice. Loan subject to credit approval. 4.75 annual percent rate based on 36-month term and 780 FICO score, and 29.86 per $1,000 borrowed.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
Macy's One Day Sale is the one sale you can't miss because it's our best prices of the month, like jeweled women's sandals for $19.99 and under, 60% off premium bedding from Charter Club, and over half off Alfani 3-piece suits. Half off. Plus, it's Star Money Bonus Days, when Star Rewards members can earn rewards even faster. Not a member yet? Join for free and earn $10 in Star Money for every $100 you spend. Today at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply. Subject to credit approval.
What is your next success story? At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can succeed again with more than 135 affordable online degrees and certificates to help you move your career forward. From cybersecurity and AI to healthcare and MBA, our programs help you build critical thinking, leadership, and communication skills that set you apart in today's job market. Apply now and save with no application fee through September 3rd. Visit umgc.edu to get started. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When businesses thrive, Communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA World Cup here in the Bay Area. And our more than 110 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Don't miss Chance the Rapper on his And We Back tour on October 16th at the Masonic in San Francisco. Buy your tickets at LiveNation.com. And for your chance to win your way into the show, visit the contest page at 957thegame.com.
Hey, hello. Listen to my voice talking to you about the new Old Spice NFL collection at Walmart. Now listen to my smell. I smell like NFL stars Jared Goff, CeeDee Lamb, Saquon Barkley, CJ Stroud, and George Kittle. I smell like greatness. Why? Because I'm wearing Old Spice's new NFL collection. How can you put the greatness of the NFL into a smell, you ask? You can't. But Old Spice can. And they did. Smell like Suntal and Speed, Driftwood and Drive, Sea Ties and Toughness with the Old Spice NFL collection available at Walmart. Smell like the greatest smell in the NFL with Old Spice.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
And if I'm crazy, please call in at 888-957-9570 and let me know why I am insane.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
I clicked the wrong thing.
I mean, I think that still works. That was Evan Giddings there. But Sam Lubman, Dan Devone here on the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. That voice you keep hearing in the background is that of Steven Risotto, pusher of buttons, swinger of golf clubs. Steven Risotto
that's a brutal swing, bro.
He swung his first golf club ever the other day.
And no, that was actually a few years old. That video is a few years old.
Okay, so that was when you were like 7?
6.
Yeah, there you go. Better than Charles Barkley. Zach Green, he's producing today.
Well, that's who you need to talk to. Yeah. Just turn to your right and have that young man, Zach Green, impart some knowledge when it comes to hitting a golf ball.
Who's your pride? The king of Assembly Hall. Zach, why are the Giants so bad right now? I'm going to put you on the spot. I want the full rundown of why the Giants are bad.
Bob Melvin.
I like how that was shorter than your final thought the other day.
Yeah, that was a huge final thought.
We do our Xfinity Fast Five on the morning roast stand at the end of every show, and on Monday, Zach's filling in for Carter. And so we get to our final thoughts, and Zach goes last with like 13 seconds left in the show. And he's like, I'm going to read off the name of every college football player ever to exist, starting with General Booty. And then he just went off the list of every single college football player ever. It's like, bro, we got to go, but love the energy there. So,
well, I got something for you. Why has Indiana football, granted, it's a basketball, I get it, it's Hoosier hoops, but can they never just be relevant ever? Like in what was formerly the Big Ten? Like I cannot recall of an Indiana football team that's ever been something that I can, think was, well, they were pretty good that year. Like, what's going on over there, Zach?
I mean, we made the college football playoffs this past year, and we're ranked 20th in the AP poll.
You know what? That's right. And, I walked right into that. Okay, aside from this.
So when was Indiana relevant? Right now, which is the best time to be relevant. Wish Miami was relevant.
Jeez. Set you up, buddy. Talk about the golf analogy. Just put my head on a tee right there, didn't I?
Curtis Rourke, man. Future Niner legend. Could be back up Brock Purdy for a little while.
I got a question.
Possibly.
Well, really quick, speaking of the Niners, since we just mentioned them here, they are playing today at 1 o'clock down at Allegiant. Preseason week 2 against the Oakland Las Vegas Raiders. Pete Carroll's Las Vegas Raiders. Tom Brady's Las Vegas Raiders. And then after that game, flip on 95.7 The Game for 49ers Overtime with Mark Grandy. I believe Grandy is doing our post-game show this evening, so make sure you are locked in with that. We will have all sorts of Niner takes to talk about after the preseason game today. And one last little bit of housekeeping. How about them Valkyries? Dan, I don't know if you've been watching any of the Valkyries at all. 90-59 winners over the Chicago Sky last night. 18 wins for the Valkyries. They're 18-5, 7th place in the WNBA standings. The most wins ever for a WNBA expansion franchise team. They are on a serious playoff push right now. So, shout out to the Valks and shout out to Mark Grandy and the Red and Gold Overtime show.
And a shout out to North Beach. So as I walk to work, I walk through North Beach, and maybe this is what every San Francisco Giant frustrated fan needs to do today. So there's a festival, as they often happen this time of the year in the summer. This isn't the North Beach Festival, but rather this is a festival that's going off today, and it's right in front of the church. I believe it's on the end of Franklin Street, right off of Columbus. And as I was passing by, they have the whole 2-block sort of area shut down, and it's just simply a beer, pizza, bagel festival.
Hell yeah.
Enough said. Beer.
So where's this at?
Pizza, bagel, festival. Right in North Beach. Right in the heart of North Beach. What else do you need?
Do we just go Fox Sports here at 10:08 and mosey our way over to the beer, pizza, and bagel festival?
I'm just saying, what else do you? If you're having a festival, that's all. And for baseball fans and Giant fans, thank you, Pasta. It's just, if you're looking for a remedy, just throw down some good pie, a good bagel, and wash it down with a beer, and you're good to go.
It's a lot of bread.
A lot of carbs.
Yeah.
A lot of carbs.
You need to walk it off a little bit afterwards.
Well, I think you got to, it's an either.
Oh, yeah, then you throw the beer on top of that. Oh,
it's an either or. I think you either do the bagel or a pizza.
No, if you're bagel and pizza, don't you just skip the middleman, just go to pizza bagels at that point?
Well, there's no such thing. Come on.
There's totally such thing.
I know there is, but help me here, Risotto, as being the only other sort of paisan in the room today.
I'm sort of Italian.
Pizza
Italian
bagel?
on my grandma's side.
Are you really?
Yeah. Rest in peace, Grandma Dot.
I don't know if I can endorse the pizza bagel. I think you gotta pick a lane.
I'm a child of the 90s, so the pizza bagel is absolutely a real thing.
Yeah, right. Pass on the pizza bagel. But I'm all in on North Beach. All in. My parents got married at St. Peter's and Paul's.
It's right in front of St. Peter's and Paul's. Literally right in front of St. Peter's and Paul today.
That's pretty cool.
Gino and Carlos.
Zach, pizza bagels here. Break the tie here. Pizza bagel. You in or out?
In.
There we go.
1,000%.
All right, there. We win 2-2.
Where's your best slice? Go to. See, people don't do slices in San Francisco, but if you had to, do you have one?
I mean, I have a go-to pizza spot. I mean, I'm all in on my people at Pinky's out in Walnut Creek.
Okay, shout out Pinky's.
Skipolini's another one that's out in Walnut Creek. I do that. I mean, I grew up in Walnut Creek, so any pizza place.
Gotcha.
Any pizza place that isn't extreme pizza, I'll probably roll with it.
Well, I'm hoping Golden Boys is part of today's festivities. Okay. Golden Boys, which is entrenched right there in North Beach.
Tony's owns North Beach, Dan.
Tony's is, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Tony's is a little bit sort of like, it's too new for me.
I don't know.
I really don't.
How about golden collars? You want some golden collars? Because I got a golden collar right here. His name's Mitch. He's been in New Jersey, and I've let him out hold for far too long. Mitch, the floor is yours. What's going on with this team, man? You're on the wrap.
Morning, Sam, Dan. And I forgot the producer's name, but Indiana has a good quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. He'd be a top 10 draft choice.
Former Cal quarterback Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, from Cal. I mean, how did Cal let him go? But I guess it's a thing now. It's in style to transfer multiple times. You gotta give Arch Manning credit. He's sticking around because he's probably gonna be the top pick next year's draft. You're in trouble from the Giants when Dominic Smith is your cleanup hitter. I don't know why you put your best guy at second or first. I see Adams is batting third, but we need to get another one or two power hitters for the lineup. I remember the days of Cepeda, McCovey, and Willie Mays, and they would bat 3, 4, and 5. Then there's leadoff stuff. Shohei Ohtani batting first. Aaron Judge, almost a Giant. Samson was a Giant. I mean, he's a Giant in his own right. Batting second. Is he supposed to bunt the leadoff guy over? It's just ridiculous. The guy, it's not the manager's fault. We're lucky that Colorado's in a division. We'll be fighting for a fifth place. Someone has to tell the manager, you got to go up, not down.
So, Mitch, how are we feeling on Bob Melvin these days, Mitch?
The green thumbs around here, so that explains the noise. I apologize for that.
All good? But, yeah, so how are we feeling on Bob Melvin right now?
He's I like him. You got to keep for next year. You just got this this off season. Just got to start now. See what you got in your minors as much as you can. I see play right field Gilbert. He's not doing well. McRae, not in the rave about it either. I want to see what our minors got. Season is over. Sorry to say. Forget about the wild card. Actually, it's too top heavy. I think maybe there's a fourth guy running for the wild card, but it's not the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, thank you for the call there, Mitch. Again, as we're Mitch, New Jersey there, 888-957-9570 is the number to call. You can also text us on the Boxer and Gerson Work Injury Attorneys text line as we're talking about just how it got so bad with the Giants this year and what frustrates you the most about how it's gotten this bad. And we had Dave Fleming join us on the Morning Roast earlier this week, and he talked about how this team is it's lost their enthusiasm. He really just painted a bleak picture of where this team was at. This was Wednesday morning before the Giants got shellacked 11-1 against the Padres. And he talks about the lack of enthusiasm. Here's what he had to say about that.
I do think there is an element of this team that is prideful. They're veteran. They've been around. They have big expectations of themselves, and they've watched this thing sort of slip away. And I'm not saying the season is over, but I think the body language and the energy level would definitely say this is a group that has lost some of their enthusiasm, not because they don't want it, but because they realize the math right now. And that sucks. I mean, it does. Nobody wants that. And Elliott, that was perfect from Elliott. That is exactly the way everybody's feeling. Like, who knows what to say about this? Everybody's underperforming. How do you explain that? How do you explain that, like, a bunch of guys who have big league talent and track records are all struggling? I don't know how you explain that. I don't know that there is an easy explanation, but that's the reality right now.
And it's just every single loss, every single bad play, every single bad break, every single ball four that's actually strike three. It is just eroding away at the morale of this team. And you could feel it when you're around them. It's they're not having fun at work right now, which you're supposed to do that. It's still baseball. Steve, again, you were there. You went down the clubhouse Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night. What was that clubhouse like when you were in there during those Padres games?
It was just very bleak. I mean, it was just guys that were pissed off, but it was a level of pissed off combined with a level of just dumbfounded. Like, nobody knew what the answer was. Nobody knew, what to point to. And I think you're hearing it in a lot of these cuts. It's just kind of mind-boggling that this has happened. And I think it's not like anybody's really blaming anybody other than themselves. And this isn't a situation where Bob Melvin has lost the clubhouse. I think these players have just kind of lost themselves. I don't think it's anything more than that. I mean, they're tripping over themselves every single night. And it's the same story. And I think I told you this, Sam. Bob Melvin's like throwing his hands up and shaking his head during the postgame. And I'm like, did he do that on Sunday or Monday or both?
All these answers are starting.
Yeah. All the answers are starting to look the same. I'm like, was it Sunday night that he talked about not delivering for the fans, or was that Tuesday night? And it could have been both.
Honestly, he's given the same answer almost every single time here in these games. But no, that's interesting, though. You think that he hasn't lost the clubhouse, but it just the spark is not there with this team right now, Dan.
Yeah, and you can clearly see it. They're dispirited. And think about the body language of this team when they were playing well in the beginning of the season, and Willie Adames was going Derek Jeter on the front step of the dugout and taking the helmet off of players and everybody. You could just see the energy. It was palpable. to where they're at today. It's two entirely different clubs. I'll just go right back to this is baseball. As general and as sort of nondescript as that answer is, but it's very similar to the other end of the spectrum back in 2021 when they inexplicably won 106 games and won the division over that of the Los Angeles Dodgers with whom? Jeff Tauchman?
Michael Tauchman.
Michael Tauchman. It was
the Gabe Kapler effect.
It was baseball, and the gods decided for whatever reason, let's just have every button that Farhan and Gabe Kapler push come up smelling roses. Pinch hit home run here, pinch hit home run there. Everybody has career years, and guess what? You win the division. And on the other end of the spectrum, sometimes baseball does this, and you look at it and you want answers. We all want to blame somebody. It's what we do on podcasts, it's what we do on YouTube, it's what we do on shows like this. But I'm sorry, man. It's just sometimes this is what happens when you sign up to play this crazy sport.
I mean, if you really want to get really stupid about it, because that's what I do. I like to get stupid about these kind of things. They do go on the road next week. They got 4 in San Diego, 3 in Milwaukee. They are hitting well on the road. How ridiculous would it be if they went 5-2 on this next road trip?
Not at all.
Yeah. And then here's the thing. Then you got 3 against the Cubs at home when you come back, and then 3 against the Orioles that last weekend of August. By the way, that Friday night game against the Orioles, the Pokemon Go drone show after that one.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Definitely getting in on that one. I know I'm serious. I actually do want to see that. But your September slate, at the Rockies, at the Cardinals, versus the Diamondbacks, versus the Dodgers, at the Diamondbacks, at the Dodgers, versus the Cardinals, versus the Rockies. Take out those 7 Dodger games, and those are a lot of very winnable baseball games. And it's I feel like I'm Hawkeye now. Don't do that. Don't give me hope. But, so you can convince yourself that there's a path there for the Giants.
Oh, there's a path.
No, there isn't. But
No, but see, this is where you and I probably differ from, I'd say, 85, 90% of the callers out there or the audience. And it's not, I don't play the schedule game because it has nothing to do with the opponents right now.
By the way, again, we're talking about, bad teams, Diamondbacks, Rockies, Cardinals. Talk about the same Giants team that, is getting bodied by the Marlins, the White Sox, and the Pirates.
That's why it has nothing to do.
That's why there is no path.
No. The opponents have nothing to do with this. They do to a certain degree, obviously, because you got to beat the other team in the other dugout. But if you take care of your own house, if you begin to play up to your potential, these are bona fide major leaguers. Matt Chapman is a proven baseball player who can do this. So is Willie Adames. I actually like Casey Schmidt. He's been one of their best players over the last month over there at second base. I think he's solidified what has been clearly one of the question marks on the infield. Devers at first, and Dom Smith is a little weird defensively, but it's Rafi Devers at the end of the day. And I'll take an Elliot Ramos and a Jung-Hoo Lee and whoever it is that they're putting out in right field and Patrick Bailey. And with the pitching being what it has been, I still think that the door is ajar, believe it or not. And it has nothing to do with what it is that you just laid out, that being the schedule. If the Giants just take care and eat what's on their plate and take care of what's in-house, they'll be fine. They can beat anybody. This isn't about the opponent. It's about them taking care of what's possible, right? This is just play to your potential. This is all within your realm. One thing I do want to touch on, because this has flared up over the last couple of weeks, and it happens from time to time. So the numbers that you just underlined and illustrated about how well they're playing on the road, and offensively much better. The idea of moving the fences in at Oracle, where are you at?
Which has been done already before. No, I'm not blaming the ballpark on this one at all. Again, the ballpark is a factor. There's going to be those nights, and I was explaining this to Steven Risotto on the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast, episode 143, available right now wherever you listen to podcasts. The ballpark is a factor in that, there's times where you're going to just crush a ball 364 feet, but you did it to the 365 part of the ballpark. There's going to be a time where you just, absolutely rip one off your bat, but unfortunately you did it at 7:45 on a Tuesday night while the fog's rolling in and the wind just pushed it down. Those are the factors. The ballpark, and I want to hear Dave Fleming on this in a little bit, the ballpark is not the reason why Elliot Ramos is hitting 367 on the road over the last month and 197 at home in that same span. The ballpark is not the reason why Rafi Devers struck out 4 times last night for, I believe, the 8th or 9th time in his career. There's no amount of ballpark dimensions or weather or wind was causing that. It's not the ballpark causing Willie Adames to hit 193, to start 1 of 22 on this homestand. It goes beyond that. Here's Dave Fleming on why the ballpark is not the issue.
This is not the ballpark's big, the weather's cold, the weather's been good, the ball's been carrying. The Nationals had 17 hits on Sunday. The Padres are hitting home runs. This is not, you can't blame the ballpark for this, but they've had 13 games, they've lost 12 of them, and they've scored 23 total runs in those games. You cannot win. I don't care how good your pitching staff is. You can't win like that. And that takes away that, and that explains everything. All the enthusiasm, the professionalism, the fight, it just saps it. It just does.
Yeah, so I'm not putting it on the ballpark. There is probably a mental component to this as well for this team, but no, I'm not giving the ballpark is an issue on this one. 888-957-9570 is the number. Got a couple calls here. Oh, heck yes. Jan in Mountain View.
Oh, heck yes.
Well, Jan, you're on the wrap. What do you got for us? What's wrong with the Giants right now?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm getting a little tired of Ramos leading off and striking out too much. They should switch it around and see who can do better. Like John Lee was in that position at the beginning of the year, I believe, and maybe try somebody else, because we need to get, keep the lead going and stop striking out. And for heaven's sakes, Bailey, last night in the 8th inning, I mean, he could have, moved that runner around again, advance the runner. And, it just gets to be, really fatigued, looking at this team like they're not really, trying to win, even though they're, they feel like they don't want the fans, they feel the fans, and they appreciate them coming to the ballpark. But, heaven's sakes, what are you doing? Try to win. Like, what's that saying? We're here to win,
You play to win the game.
To win the game. Thank you.
Oh, Jan, thank you. What are you doing for the rest of your Saturday, Jan?
I'm sorry, what?
What are you doing with the rest of your Saturday?
Well, I'm going to watch maybe the pregame of the Raider 49er game, and I'll see whether or not I feel up to it this evening to watch the Giants. This Tampa Bay team, they're stealing bases and they're getting on base, and they're doing the things that the Giants aren't doing. And, it's really kind of frustrating to watch, but, there's still 40 games left in the season, and they're, what they should be doing now is who's better to bring on this team next year, instead of worrying about where we are in the standings, because it's too late. I think you've already your better chance was back in June when you before you acquired Devers, and then you kind of, lost it. I don't know what the problem is, but, they need to wake up and get their bats going.
Thank you very much for the call, Jan. Have a great rest of your Saturday.
That's what she's doing today.
There she goes. She's locked in. That's a tier 1 fan right there.
Stop striking out. Advance the runner. Gee whiz.
Honestly, that's the message should just be playing on a loop inside the Giants clubhouse.
I like it when she was looking.
Bring it on, man.
When she's like, "What's the saying?" and then she just made something up.
Technically anything is a saying, really. Sean in Petaluma, I know he's got some good sayings. Sean, what's going on, man? You're on the wrap. What's going on with the Giants here, man?
Oh, heck yeah. That was my Jan voice.
Not a bad Jan.
I just want to say The Giants are in shambles, man. Like it feels we're like soulless, dude. We don't have a staple. We don't have anybody that is the guy. And I think that's where it starts. I mean, honestly, we don't have anybody that's hitting over 240 or 250. I mean, we have no consistency. And until we have that, we got nothing. And honestly, I'm out. I'm out on Bob Melvin. I don't know what is going to be next, but, we got to get something else. Thanks, guys.
I'm out.
Appreciate the call there, Sean. That was Sean in Petaluma. 888-957-9570 is the number. Jessica, I see you on hold. We'll get you on the other side. What's going on with the Giants? Why did it get this bad? How did it get to this point? And then also, on the other side, I want to dive into the big three on this team. Matt Chapman, Willie Adames, Rafi Devers. Dan, I want to throw a question. Now, you were going to do a bit of a thinking exercise just for fun here. And then also, I want to talk about the impact that Matt Chapman's injury is going to have on this team. All that and more on the other side. We're brought to you by Fremont Bank. Here for you, here for good.
A strong heart, a steady stride, a life full of milestones. El Camino Health is here for you. From advanced heart and vascular care that keeps you on beat, to expert orthopedic treatments that keep you moving, and innovative cancer care that fights alongside you. With expert care for women, men, and new moms, supporting you through every chapter of your health, because every life we touch is built on trust and compassion. El Camino Health, our strength, your health.
When you travel well, your KLM Royal Dutch Airlines ticket takes you to more than just your destination. It takes you to front row views, voices lost in the music, and new shared memories. And when the last song fades,
welcome aboard KLM Royal Dutch.
The KLM Royal Dutch Airlines crew is here to ensure your journey home hits all the right notes.
To fasten seatbelt signs.
KLM Royal Dutch Airlines. When you travel, travel well.
Shop Big O with the lowest tire price guarantee. Now through September 1st, get $80 to $120 instant savings on 4 select in-stock Cooper, Nexen, Nitto, or Sumitomo brand tires with installation purchase. Disposal fees extra, not valid with other offers. See Big O dealer for pricing.
Hey, hello. Listen to my voice talking to you about the new Old Spice NFL collection at Walmart. Now listen to my smell. I smell like NFL stars Jared Goff, CeeDee Lamb, Saquon Barkley, CJ Stroud, and George Kittle. I smell like greatness. Why? Because I'm wearing Old Spice's new NFL collection. How can you put the greatness of the NFL into a smell, you ask? You can't. But Old Spice can, and they did. Smell like Suntal and Speed, Driftwood and Drive, Sea Tides and Toughness with the Old Spice NFL collection available at Walmart. Smell like the greatest smell in the NFL with Old Spice.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Come into Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill and see an amazing selection of Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove appliances live and on display in one of the largest living kitchens in the country. And save with Full Suite Savings Event. With qualifying purchase, get 3 additional years of protection or qualify for a $1,000 rebate. For the largest selection of Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove appliances, visit the Living Kitchen at Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill or at friedmansappliance.com.
Step up to the plate and save lives with Stanford Blood Center. Donate blood during August and score a free limited edition Stanford Blood Center in San Francisco Giants co-branded jersey, and only available for a short time. This exclusive jersey is our way of saying thank you for being a hero. Every blood donation can help save up to 3 lives, making a real difference in your community. Supplies are limited, so don't wait. Visit StanfordBloodCenter.org to schedule your donation.
1-877-CARS for kids. KARS Cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Hot damn! Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea just got harder with Twisted Tea Extreme. The hard iced tea taste you know and love, but with an 8% kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Extreme is made with real brewed tea, goes down smooth, and brings your daytime drinking to the next level. Just look for the bright yellow cans in the cooler and get ready to dial up the fun. Big flavor, extreme kick. Twisted Tea Extreme. Keep it twisted!
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-311-9595. That's 800-311-9595.
Hit high and deep into center field. On the move is Mangum. At the wall. Out of here.
Now back to the best Giants talk in the Bay. The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7. The Game.
Oh, heck yes. I mean, bring it on, man.
Well, that was Dwayne Kuiper, Mike Krukow on the call for NBC Sports Net Bay Area last night. Giants falling to the Tampa Bay Rays 7-6 last night. Landon Roop made his return last night, went 3 innings, 5 runs, 5 strikeouts. Did give up the home run to Junior Caminero, but it was good to see Landon Roop back last night, and he has been one of the few bright spots for the Giants over the last couple months here as they have slowly descended into madness, taking us as Giants fans with them. Landon Roop has been kind of the beacon of hope, so to speak, for Giants fans. And so it was great to see him last night. Definitely was, still I think shaking some rust off. He had only 1 rehab start, which I know maybe you could have given him 2 rehab starts, but they really wanted to get him back on the field last night. Threw about 66 pitches, and I think he started to kind of wear down a little bit. But overall, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Landon Roop this year. He is one of those guys that makes me feel good about, not so much this year. Nothing really makes me feel good about this year. But he is one of the guys that makes me feel good about what this team could be capable of doing next year, especially with Robbie Ray coming back. I know a lot of Giants fans probably in hindsight wish the Giants had moved off of Robbie Ray to be, at the trade deadline rather than try and make this feeble attempt to compete for a playoff spot. But when you look at this rotation of Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, and Landon Roop as your top 3 next year, hopefully you can get something more out of Carson Wisenhunt. Hopefully Hayden Birdsong can relearn how to throw strikes. But you still are seeing, as we kind of try to figure out what next year is going to look like, you're seeing where Landon Roop's going to fit in with that. And again, Dan, as we're looking for positives down the stretch here, Landon Roop is one of those guys who I think Giants fans the rest of this year can kind of embrace and be like, on days you're on the mound, I'm going to let myself feel good.
Well, I'd like to see how he finishes because he was good pre-injury. He was not good last night, but a lot of that I think could be attributed to rust. I'm really curious how he finishes the season. And then I think you get that positive momentum going into next year because I think we have to keep in mind that he's never done this for a full season. He's never pitched this many innings ever in his professional career. So I'll be curious if he's the same Landon Roop that we saw in the beginning of the season towards the latter part, then you're onto something. But I think, generally speaking, isn't this what we talked about, the worst-case scenario with the Giants? That their pitching was so good for so long that it was keeping the Giants competitive, and you knew at some point there'd be a regression to the means, that Logan Webb would not be able to maintain this pace, that at some point Robbie Ray was actually going to lose a game, and that Landon Roop, we didn't know he'd get injured, but maybe at some point he was going to have some bad performances. And sure enough, that's what came to fruition. The problem being is that you thought the Giants, when that did finally happen, would be able to hit. Because the one thing we forewarned, we're like, well, the pitching's really good, and they haven't been able to hit. And what we're afraid of is that at some point the pitching is going to regress. And are they going to continue to hit like this? Because if they do, that is going to be a recipe for disaster. And guess what? That's exactly what's taking place.
Happened. Yep.
Robbie Ray suddenly is human. Logan Webb has run into some bad starts.
He has had his last 4 starts at home. I think he has a 7-something ERA in his last 4 home starts. He's pitched a lot better on the road, but it has been rough for the Giants ace of late.
And Roop obviously gets injured, and guess what? The hitting has been the hitting. It has not improved. In fact, I could even make the argument it's gotten worse. And as a result, you become a sub-500 baseball team.
And it's one thing leads to another. And again, it's just the bad breaks keep stacking up for the Giants too, which doesn't really help. And last night, the Giants got a couple more doozies to deal with. Obviously, there is the Casey Schmidt wrist contusion, as I believe is what it was called after the game. So, which is good. At least it's not a full-on break there from Casey. But on the same day that Matt Chapman went on the IL, to then lose your backup third baseman. And again, hopefully he can come back in just 3-4 days.
Day-to-day.
He's day-to-day right now. If it lingers, they might have to put him on the injured list. So that's something to kind of monitor here over the next few days. Hopefully, the wrist starts to get better. But then, losing Matt Chapman, though, that was a tough one. And it's been a rough go for Chapman ever since he came back from his hand injury. Again, he had the hand sprain, I believe it was. Had 2 or 3 different ligaments in that right hand of his. This was going back to June 8th. Slid back into first base, injured his hand on the slide there on a pickoff play. At the time, Dan, he was hitting .243 with a 2.5 WAR, which is tops on the Giants, with 12 home runs, 35 RBIs. He missed about a month of the season, came back on July 5th when the Giants were in Sacramento. He's hitting .290 since then with a .5 WAR. Does have 4 home runs, 18 RBIs. So the power has been like...
He's hitting .290, you said?
200. I was looking at his on-base percentage. His on-base percentage is .290, which, yikes. He's hitting 200 since he returned. And Matt Chapman last night after the game talked to the media, and here's what he said about kind of just what he's going through with the hand injury right now.
I got two cortisone shots in my hand where the tears were, so just hoping that can give me some relief and help me, get back on the field so I can help our team. It's the same as it was, I think June when I had the injury, So when the injury happened, there's 3 tears that I had in my hand, but they're not going to reattach on their own. It's something that has to kind of scar over, and there just hasn't been enough time for, the scarring to kind of happen. So I've just been trying to, push through it. Do what I can.
So, Matt, you mentioned push through it. Talk about what pushing through this injury has been like for you.
I think just from constantly playing, the inflammation and stuff just kind of kept going, and I couldn't get ahead of it. So we're hoping that this cortisone shot and just let the cortisone settle in and can kind of get me over the hump, and that way I can, be productive and help the team win. I am willing to, push through anything for the, for the team and try to help. It just these last few days, I really felt like I couldn't use my hand when I was swinging, and it just didn't feel right. So we got it looked at, decided to get the cortisone shot, just because if I'm not able to swing the bat, I'm not going to be of very much help to the team. And I think that if I can get to a point where I can swing the bat pain-free, then obviously, I'm going to be in there as soon as I can.
So again, Chapman's not a guy who's going to make excuses and say, because of injury X, I'm having performance Y. But at the same time, Dan, he mentioned, he can't really swing the bat with his hand. And let me look at my notes here. Tap, tap, tap. Yes, hands are very important when it comes to swinging a bat. And he just has not had that there. And I think it makes sense. He clearly rushed back from the injury. He knows that. He tried to push through it, which, again, I respect that. It's what you would want every athlete to do. But as a result, and this is when players push through injuries, there's a level of respect. But at the same time, it's like, I love what you're trying to do, but you're also hurting the team. And I think this week for Chapman, it just came to a point where the negatives of pushing through it, the negatives that came about because he was pushing through it, outweighed the potential positives that would come by trying to push through it. And so it was just inevitable the Giants had to make this move with Matt Chapman.
Yeah, and I think that, listen, players deal with injuries and play through pain. It's just part of what it is that you do at every sport, at every level. For Chapman, I think that it goes a long way in trying to explain why he's had such an off year offensively. I don't know, was there a little bit of a misdiagnosis there on the part of the Giants? Their medical staff, I'm not obviously knives out. But
he did say that he got clearance from the doctors to return.
But it sounds as though he shouldn't have.
It's probably one of those things where, could you have waited? I think he wanted to come back for that Dodger series. He really wanted to be back on the field for that Dodger series right before the All-Star break. Because, again, the Giants, they were hovering around the fringes of the top of the division at that time. This is back again in early June.
Yeah.
And, there was, it was June when he got hurt. And then, July when he came back, you had Rafi Devers at that time. And I think there was just a desire for him. The dude's a ball player. Like I will say, the dude is a down and dirty red-ass ball player.
Yeah, but getting back to the medical staff, if that's Rick Celebrini, who is a red-ass with the Warriors, do you think that Steph Curry says, well, it's the Dodgers or it's the Lakers, I need to come back? No, everything's on Celebrini's.
That is true. There is a level of, the doctors having to kind of put their foot down and say, no, not today. But again, he said, he got clearance from the doctors to return. They felt like he thought it was good enough to where, he could come back and play through it. I believe I remember talking to him afterwards. I don't think he'd ever had an injury like this take place. So he was kind of in a new territory there on his own right. Listen, I'm not going to shake a stick at a guy who wants to get back out in the field and help this team. And there is one thing I know about Matt Chapman is that he is committed to this team. But Dan, so before we went to the break, though, I teased a question. I'm going to throw it at you right now because the Giants, I'm curious where Giants fans feel about this core right now of Adames, Chapman, and Devers because, whether you like them or not, which is a great sell there, this is your Giants core, along with Elliot Ramos, along with Jung-Hoo Lee, at least for the foreseeable future. But right now, your core of this team, hitter-wise, is those big three, Devers, Adames, and Chapman. I also want to throw a fun little exercise out here. If you could get amnesty on one of those three, and by amnesty, I mean just take their contract, take their money, take their years, and just poof, make it disappear. It's not, you don't have to pay for it or anything like that. They could just off into the ether. Which of those three, Giants fans, 888-957-9570, if you could amnesty one of these three, I'm just kind of curious, which of those three would you choose? Dan?
Well, I know I sort of surprised you when I said this without hesitation. It's Rafi Devers.
Gone.
Really? And it's Devers because of the contract. And that's just sort of where I am when it comes to free agency. And I've always maintained this. It's not that Devers is going to be a liability or he's not good. I think this has nothing to do with the way he's performed this year. By the way, did we ever find out if the Giants have the worst record in baseball since Devers was acquired? I'm curious to know whether I was right on that.
Did we ever figure that one out, Rizzo?
But I think
you're right.
They worst record since Devers.
Worst record since the trade.
So
June 15th.
Rafi Devers will be. Well, how come you didn't let me know sooner than that? When I'm right, you're like the last guy. But certainly when I'm wrong, you'll let the entire world know that that's not right, Dan. But I come out with that nugget, that gem. They have the worst record since acquiring Rafael Devers, and it's like pulling teeth. 4 hours later.
Congratulations, Dan. You were right.
Thank you. It's nice once in a while to get a "you're right, Dan." So
are you? I hate to ask this question. Are you one of those people who tries to link the Giants' struggles to Rafi Devers?
No.
Okay, good.
Not at all. I just think it's a noteworthy. I
think that's coincidence. If you're one of those people, I don't believe in coincidence.
No, it was all coming together. I mean, it was all headed in the wrong direction, and it just coincidentally happened to be when they get Devers. It's the contract. And I tell you, I spent some time in New York, and I talked about Juan Soto. who's got a $735 million deal, and Juan Soto right now is terrible. He's terrible. And the New York Mets, as a result, are terrible. Well, guess what? You're tied up to that guy for a long... I'm just not into, especially a guy that has a body type like that of a Rafi Devers. And I know that you need hitting, but when I got Bryce Eldridge, which I still think is unsolved. Everybody says, well, what are you going to do with Bryce Eldridge? Well,
from what I gather,
we'll figure it out.
From what I gather, the initial plan is they're going to be rotating them between DH and first base.
That doesn't sound sustainable to me.
No, I don't. Again, that's the plan. Whether that changes and there's going to be a position change, that's just what I'm hearing now. That could change, but continue.
It's not the one area where I felt as though if I'm going to spend that much money, while we want Rafi's bat, certainly, it was not at first base. In retrospect, has nothing to do of how he's performed. It's the fact that you got, it's a 10-year, $313 million deal for a guy that has not hit well in your home ballpark. And that's undisputable. We'll see how things go going forward. So when you talk about the big three, I'm just not in on long-term contracts. Again, I use the Milwaukee Brewers as the prototype. That's the thing that I think you should aim at, is getting good players that buy into a system that do everything well. And if you look back at the Giants historically, they've always been sort of void of the big free agent. When they won the World Series, it was more about the collective unit.
Agreed. Okay, yeah, I hear you on that one. Devers, I hear you on the years, and that is going to be a problem at some point, but the reason why it's not Devers for me is that this team needs a legitimate slugger in the middle of this lineup. Now, can he be your best slugger in this lineup? I don't know if that could be the case for him, but I do know that if he is the Giants' best hitter, and they have the pitching that they know that they're capable of putting together, then I think that's a team that could hit enough with the good pitching and defense, if you have that, to be a successful team. Now, what I'm about to say here is going to undermine a lot of what I just said right here, because if I'm amnestying one of these three guys, it is probably Matt Chapman. And I know that sounds crazy to say because I was just, saying so many great things about him. I like Chapman a lot. My concern about Matt Chapman, though, it has nothing to do really with his performance, his contract, his years, or his leadership or anything like that. Because I do think that, again, I don't see the leadership stuff from him in person, but I do know it's there. I see a little bit more from Willie Adames, which is why I like Willie on this team. The defense, obviously, it is top-notch. I know he's up there in errors this year, but Chapman, to me, he is in that, if he has a lot of errors in the same way that Brandon Crawford used to have a lot of errors, and that
he gets to more balls.
The plays that Matt Chapman makes errors on are plays that normal third basemen aren't even close to making. So that's what that is there. The thing with Chapman, though, that makes me worried for the next few years, I think this is year 1 of 5 of this extension. Is that correct, Steven Risotto?
That's correct.
Yes.
So he's got 4 more years of this, and he is a guy that he has to stay healthy. That's the issue here. And a couple years ago in Toronto, he had a down year that made me think, are his best years behind him? And I had some hesitation about the Giants going after Chapman at a time when everyone and their brother was waiting for a Chapman signing every day. Is any news on Chapman? Any news on Chapman? Any news on Chapman? Shout out Barry Bob, who had his inbox flooded with those questions during that offseason. But he had a down year in 2023 because after getting off to a great start in April, I remember we had what's his name, Buck Martinez, the broadcaster for the Blue Jays on. We had him on the morning roast that after the Chapman signing to ask him about Chapman's season. He's like, yeah, he got off to a great start. I'm doing my Buck Martinez voice. He got to a great start last year, and then he had a finger injury, and then it all just went off the deep end. I'm paraphrasing there, and then you're kind of seeing it here with Chapman this season. He got off to a great start, gets hurt, and it can't seem to get back, to that point where he's being productive again. And so I do have concerns for these next few years as he gets deeper and deeper into his 30s, Dan. And as I've learned in my 2.5 years as a 30-something-year-old, the injury risk goes up the deeper into your 30s that you get, especially in the game of baseball. And there's a lot of, writing on Matt Chapman. And so I do get concerned about his health and his body's ability to stay healthy the deeper into his contract here. So that's why I kind of have apprehension there. Rafi Devers, I'm willing to build this lineup around him and take whatever lumps that come down the line, because 4 or 5 years from now when he starts to go off the deep end, in theory, you're going to have a lot of younger guys around him. They're going to offset that. So I'll go with that there. But yeah, with the Chapman, it's, that's going to start to happen sooner rather than later with regards to him and his potential health-related decline.
Well, I would say that Chapman does take care of himself. And I don't, when I think about the injury, especially this year, like what it is that you're saying, usually you would say, oh, it's a lower extremity or he's got issues with the knees or there's always something chronic with players that are susceptible to injuries. To him, it just sort of freak luck. What happened to him, getting his hand jammed back into the base. And so I think that, he's a guy that obviously takes care of himself, and I'm willing to bet on somebody like that going forward that I am when I look at the rotund one Rafi Devers, who certainly has enjoyed life in his mid-20s, but does that translate to when you're on the hook for another 8 years and $260 million?
He's be going to Camp Rafi next spring when they're down in Arizona. Him and Pablo Sandoval, I expect to be running up Camelback Mountain a few times a day.
But guys like Rafi, much like that of Babe Ruth and baseball players, it's almost as if, like, would you want a skinny, svelte Rafi Devers? He's not going to be the same guy.
I don't need him showing up with washboard abs or anything like that, but, like, I need you a little less doughy and round than you're at right now. You got to be able to, you look at a guy like Jock Peterson, I think this is the guy, that dude just, just eating himself large throughout the season. I mean, he ballooned up when he was with the Giants, and you saw his performance go in the tank as a result. I get there's some big dudes out there. We saw, again, Pablo Sandoval, I think is a great example. There's big, and then there's too big. There you go, Bonte. Speaking of big time, Bonte doing pre and post game for the Giants. Pablo, when he was too big, like in 2010, that was no bueno. Pablo, when he was just big, like in 2009, you like to see that. So that's where I want to get there for off. I just want to make it clear, though, as we play this fun little exercise here, I want to get these two in the back's answers as well. I don't want to get rid of any of these three. I do like this core. The one that does give me the most apprehension of these three right now for the future, it is Matt Chapman. I do want to go behind the glass, then we're going to go with the calls. If you could amnesty one of these three, who you guys on? Let's go with Steven first.
I'll go with Chapman, too. I think the health is a good explanation. Also, when you think of, like, lowest upside out of the three, I think the lowest upside might be Matt Chapman. And it's still a pretty high upside. I like Chapman. Yeah. He was a guy last year. He was up there in the WAR leaderboards in the National League, and I just think in this trio, he has the lowest upside.
Zach, where you at? Who are you amnestying?
Yeah, I mean, you asked me that in the morning, and I definitely thought about Chapman, but then I was like, okay, to Dan's point, like I can see where he's coming from with Rafi, just simply because of Bryce Eldridge, like, and I'm wondering about that.
That's
right?
Fair.
Like where are you going to put him realistically, right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, honestly, probably Chapman.
Okay.
Oh, God. I'm like, Zach, that a boy, and at the end you just crushed me.
What I really like here is none of us brought up Willie Adames, and I'm really happy about that. Good job, everybody. We didn't do that.
Well,
Willie.
What if we did this amnesty poll about 2 months ago?
Oh, it would have been Willie. I like Willie Adames. I like having him here on this team. You know what Willie
He's quietly got 19 jacks.
What I compare Willie Adames to, what I think the biggest role he's going to be for this team, because again, they rave about him on this team. I think he's a great influence on this team, and I do believe that the intangibles he brings do matter. But again, Larry Baird, he called him a culture carrier when he came on the station. And when I look at Willie Adames, I compare him to like when the Padres signed Eric Hosmer in like 2017, 18 or something like that. The Padres were still a few years away from contending again, and Eric Hosmer was probably on the back half of his career. And I don't think he was signed with the intent of being a foundational piece for the Padres going forward. What he was when you're bringing up a young team, you want professionals around your young guys who have been through the ringer before, guys who have been there. And Eric Hosmer, even in his later years, was still a legit ball player who had been to the sport's highest mountain. He was a World Series champion, a 2-time World Series player, and just a damn good ball player. Like, I had a lot of respect for Haas. That's a guy you want your young guys gravitating to. That's what I see with Willie Adames. He is a guy who the Giants brought him in because they want him to set a tone for the young guys coming up. whether it's Bryce Eldridge, whether it's going to be, there's got to be another hitter I can think of, whether it's going to be Jesus Rodriguez someday, whether it is going to be Drew Gilbert, whether it is going to be, Iverson Arteaga down on the farm. Willy Adames, the kind that you want these young guys to gravitate to. And that's what I see him being kind of for the next few years. And now I know that doesn't thrill anybody in terms of him being a ball player, but I think two things can be true with regards to Willy Adames. He's never really going to truly live up to that $182 million contract, but I still think he'll have a positive time here in his career with the Giants. And I do think he will be a very good foundational piece. That said, he needs to be your third or fourth best player on the team.
I was going to say it's all predicated on him hitting.
And so when the season started, he was probably the quote-unquote best player. Then you got Rafi Devers. Now he's your second best player. And then in theory, you would hope that Bryce Eldridge can knock him down to number 3. Maybe you sign someone that can bump him down to number 4 someday. Then you're cooking with some hot grease. And so that's why I still kind of ride with Willy Adames for right now. I'm going to ride with Drew in San Jose on the other side. 888-957-9570 is the number. We're coming to you live from the Laughing Monk Studios. Laughing Monk, righteously brewed in San Francisco. On the other side, we're going to take Drew's call. We're going to talk some more about why the Giants are just circling the drain of misery right now. How did we get to this point? And big night tonight. Sweetie is going to be performing after the Giants game tonight. I'm going to see if Dan knows anything about Sweetie, because why not? We'll do that on the other side. Brought to you by Fremont Bank, here for you, here for good.
Napa Valley Wine Train invites you on a breathtaking journey through Napa Valley aboard their elegant vintage train. Savor world-class wines and exquisite cuisine. For more info and to enter for a chance to win passes plus an overnight stay at the River Terrace Inn, visit 957thegame.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime, from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, Ace's Garage Door Repair and Installation has smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video, streaming, and battery backup to let you in when the power is out. Trust Ace's Garage Door Repair and Installation for top-notch service and unbeatable reliability. Whether you need a quick fix, a complete replacement, or a brand new installation for your garage door or garage door opener, our skilled technicians are here to get the job done right. With competitive prices, a commitment to quality, and diamond certification, Aces has you covered. Call today at 855-588-2237 or visit acegd.com. That's acegd.com. Aces Garage Door Repair and Installation, where your garage door is our priority.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA World Cup here in the Bay Area. And our more than 110 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Macy's One Day Sale is the one sale you can't miss because it's our best prices of the month, like jeweled women's sandals for $19.99 and under, 60% off premium bedding from Charter Club, and over half off Alfani 3-piece suits. Half off. Plus, it's Star Money Bonus Days, when Star Rewards members can earn rewards even faster. Not a member yet? Join for free and earn $10 in Star Money for every $100 you spend. Today at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply. Subject to credit approval.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why MyLowe's Rewards members get a free Valspar paint or exterior stain sample to test your look to confidently refresh your space. Offer valid in-store only 8/7 to 8/20. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See associate for details. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic, semaglutide injection 0.5 milligrams.
Don't miss Chance the Rapper on his And We Back tour on October 16th at the Masonic in San Francisco. Buy your tickets at LiveNation.com. And for your chance to win your way into the show, visit the contest page at 957thegame.com.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend. Oh, my Bob!
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Better than that. Down the line. It'll be a two-bagger for Koss, and coming in to score is Lee.
I think he's one of the best fastball hitters on this Giants team.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Was a 3-hour bore, a 3-hour bore. That's what Giants games are, a 3-hour bore.
Shut up.
Okay.
It is the only calls and try and figure out just where it is that Pasta goes, where his mind goes with Gilligan's Island, and try and play the association with the San Francisco Giants.
I like that he even pull Gilligan's Island out of his mind there. I love that. I mean, that was like 300 years before he was born.
Gary, Indiana, which
Already,
is
I don't even know how to respond to that one. Gary, Indiana.
What famous singing group is from Gary, Indiana? Come on.
Ooh. Do we have the game show music?
Is it the Jackson 5?
Oh, wow.
He is money.
Pasta from the top rope. Wow. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. That was Steven Risotto with the great Jackson 5. Really, I did not know that they were from Gary, Indiana.
Oh, yes.
Of all the places.
Where Dad was beating the crap out of every one of them.
Oh, that's very unfortunate. A lot of unfortunate there. Zach Green, he's also on the scene. He's producing this show. Dan Devone to my left here. I am Sam Lubman. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. And shout out to all those who are watching on YouTube. Brought to you by First NorCal Credit Union. For a low-rate auto loan, apply online or just ask for First NorCal Financing at dealer. YouTube chat's been popping all morning long. Damon Chang, Skills, TG, Estimated Eyes, No. I see you guys there. You've all been killing it all morning long. No, man. He has just been leading the chat this morning. One of our stars in the chat. Want to go out to the lines here, though. 888-957-9570 is the number. Drew in San Jose. I left you on hold for far too long, Drew. Please forgive me, but what's going on with the Giants, man? How did it get to this point?
Hey guys. Thanks for taking my call, man. I have so many things to get off my chest. I don't even know where to start. Like, first of all, and I called the morning roast earlier this week, and I mentioned the same thing. The foundation of this team just downright sucks. Like, it stinks to high out. And I mean, like, in March and April, we were talking about, like, you know, this team was having a really great spring training and a really great first month of the season. They were really, like, building a house on a faulty foundation. And they've been doing this for the past 3 years, actually. And the thing is, like, when you build a house on a faulty foundation, the house looks great for the first month because there's no earthquake, there's no weather, there's no storm. It looks great, right? But then when that earthquake hits, like, how does your house withstand that? Like, the houses like the Dodgers and the Padres, like, they've had, like, every team goes through ups and downs in a 162-game MLB season, but whenever that happens to the Giants, they just never seem to be able to recover. And that's why we've seen the team that we've seen over the past 3 years. And you asked a question about which player you would amnesty, and I think we're all in agreement. It's between Chapman and Devers. But you can make an argument for any of the three players that you mentioned. And isn't that part of the problem? Like, are we really going into this thinking that those are our core three going forward? Like, I sort of harken back to 2007 when the Giants signed Barry Zito, right? And we thought that was a disaster of the contract that was going to set the team back years and years. But what ended up happening was that the Giants core became Lincecum, Kane, Bumgarner, Posey, and it did not include Barry Zito. And Barry Zito he did not play in the 2010 playoffs. He was able to be a supporting role in the 2012 playoffs. And, like, that's what I look at those players as. I look at those players playing supporting roles, more Adames than anybody else, because, like you said, Adames has great leadership capabilities, and he has the ability to bring the clubhouse together. But if you're Adames, like, who are you bringing together on this team exactly? And, like, I'm looking up and down the roster. Like, Elliot Ramos, he's not fit to be a part of this team anymore. I feel this way. Like, at the bottom of, I know, like, he was an all-star last year, but if you cannot play the field, you're not fit to be a part of this team. Like, if you're a San Francisco Giant, you need to be able to play defense, okay? And I've just been so disappointed with Elliot Ramos going forward. Like, Jung-Hoo Lee, grandson of the wind, how many steals do you have this year? Is it less than 10? You need to be stealing bases, man. You need to be putting pressure on the base pads. You need to make the opposing team feel you. And that's what I saw in April that I'm not seeing now. The Giants made opposing teams feel them, right? And that disappeared all of a sudden. And and every other position other than Devers, Adames, and Chapman, for obvious reasons, I think it's up for grabs, frankly. I think Bailey's position is very much up in the air. And I think this team needs to invest in speed. They need to invest in the farm system. I know I've spoken too long, but I just wanted to get all this stuff off my chest. I think Buster Posey needs to take a good look in the mirror and say, how am I going to build a foundation of a team such that Chapman, Adames, and Devers have more background roles than the actual core of this team? It will take a couple of years to get there. I definitely think so, but I think this team will be better for it. And I think when you get to that core, that championship core, then you're not trying to get the last wild card spot every year. I feel that the Giants' goal the last 3 years was always to get the last wild card spot, right? And that shouldn't be your goal because, my dad always told me that, like, whenever I go to school, I said, I need to get a B on this test to keep my A in the class. My dad used to tell me, no, you should try to get 100% on every test. When you try to get 100%, maybe you end up with 90, but you can live with that result, right? When you go into a test trying to get 80, maybe you get 70 or 60, right? And that's what I feel the Giants' goals is like. The goal should always be to win the division and win the World Series, right? Give yourself a foundation to do that. And I feel that the Giants' goal over the past years has been to just like sneak into the playoffs and then see what happens. That can't be your goal because that is faulty in and of itself. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Drew, man, you were cooking on that one. That was an all-time right there. I know he said he was saying a lot.
You just cut somebody off on a Saturday?
He was doing good. Man, that's a foul on Rizzo right there. But no, Drew said a lot of great stuff there. And honestly, I think the thing that popped out there at the end was the Giants chasing that final wild card spot. And I actually agree with Drew on that one. It seems like ever since the Giants Madison Bumgarnered their way to a title in 2014, they had this belief that if you could just snag one of those bottom wild card spots, that they have the ability to just magically run through the playoffs. And it's created this organizational philosophy, I feel like, where I'm not saying they don't want to win the division, but they're definitely just in this belief that the wild card is indeed good enough to win.
Well, don't you think the Los Angeles Dodgers have had something to do with that? I think when the Dodgers are in your division, it's almost sort of...
it's not stopping the Padres from chasing them.
Yeah, well...
the Padres, this is where my frustration of the last 9 years, really, because again, it's crazy to think, Dan, 9 years and 1 month-ish ago, back in July, going into the All-Star break, the Giants had the best record in baseball. Madison Bumgarner threw a shutout, complete game shutout against the Diamondbacks on Sunday Night Baseball, and he wasn't able to pitch in the All-Star game because of it. He probably would have started the All-Star game, but he pitched that Sunday, was ineligible. The Giants had the best record in baseball that day. They were the kings of baseball. They had 3 titles. It was an even year. Buster, Brandon's, Bumgarner, they were all in their primes. Johnny Cueto was having a career year. Jess Marja was pitching well. Bruce Bochy was still feeling it. The bullpen was a little shaky, but on that day, on that Sunday evening in 2016, the Giants it was as good as it ever had been. And they have been one of the 5 worst teams in baseball ever since that evening. Starting with Johnny Cueto getting lit up in the All-Star game that Tuesday, it has just been a downward descent ever since then. And what's so frustrating for me as a Giants fan is that when I see what the Dodgers are doing right now, when I see how the Padres are challenging them, the Giants had an opportunity to be that team. They were on top of the baseball world, and rather than keep it going, rather than do what the Warriors did and just ruin the league and bury everyone light years behind them, the Giants more or less just let their foot off the gas and have been spending the last 9 years, 1 month, and 6 days struggling to find where that gas pedal is. Since then, you've gone through 2 manager changes, 2 front office changes. You've gone through 2 ownership control person changes, from Larry Baer to Rob Dean to Greg Johnson. This was a team that from 2009 to 2016 was a standard bearer of stability, a standard bearer of just how you run a baseball team. They developed guys. They had approaches. They had a philosophy. They had a culture. They had an identity. And when they had a chance, they came to a fork in the road to take that to the next level. They let it just wither away. And ever since then, the Dodgers have put together a run that Giants fans would kill for. And the Padres have put together a team and a process and a culture and an identity that Giants fans would kill for. And seeing those 2 teams be everything that the Giants once were and once could have been and wish they could be now, it's soul-crushing to have to see. And when I hear Drew saying, I think they just want to compete for the wild card, that does get me frustrated because, yeah, I agree with him. I do feel like that's become the standard now.
What was the fork in the road?
Either keep building this team up and take it into the next level and just be a team that ruins baseball for everybody, or just fade into obscurity, which is what they did.
I would say to that, yeah, you want to keep building things up, but when your core gets old, which essentially happens when Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford, their core back in the day, gets old and their productivity declines, it's difficult to find players, and they don't have a farm system like that of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't know that it was some sort of monumental fork in the road where they decided to take the wrong path. As it is, it just happens sometimes in baseball. If you don't have the ability to replenish, buy players like that of the Los Angeles Dodgers, or build a farm system like that of LA, now that you could put on San Francisco, but I don't know that I necessarily subscribe that they settle for second or third place and are a team that aspires just to get in as the last wild card. I think when they were within 4 games of the Dodgers at the All-Star break, there was a sense of Buster Posey doesn't take second place. He wants to walk down the Los Angeles Dodgers, and that seemed to be the overall sentiment. For whatever reason, obviously, it's not happening. And I would also say that in baseball, unlike the other sports, I'm not saying that this is what you should. This shouldn't be your mantra every year going out of spring training. Let's just get into the playoffs. But if you do just get in, if you play your best baseball like that of Milwaukee or like that of Toronto this time or Cincinnati, that the teams that put it together down the stretch, that's who you want to be. And if it means Cincinnati, if it means you're a team that just gets in as a wild card, as we've seen in the past, you can do a lot of damage. It's about getting hot for 3 weeks of this baseball season, and that's in the postseason. And so just getting in, especially if the Dodgers are in the same division as you, which is just sort of a bad luck of the draw because that team is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, they're the Death Star.
Then I think it can be good enough.
But like I
understand what you're saying. I mean, we all want to point a finger at they made a mistake, but I think the Dodgers have a lot to do with that. And I think the Giants would have loved to keep this train going down the track, but do you trade Buster Posey a year earlier?
I don't think it's so much about making trades. I do think there was a general abandonment of kind of responsible drafting and developing. And, this is where I kind of wonder sometimes, this is going way back when now, whether the run that Brian Sabean had from 2002 to 2009 in the draft, when he's starting with Matt Cain in 2002, culminating with, 2011, with Joe Panik in that draft. The Giants, they hit on so many great picks in that time. Since Joe Panik, though, in 2011, in that 2011 draft, the best player that they might have drafted might be Brian Reynolds, who is currently doing business for the Pittsburgh Pirates right now alongside Andrew McCutchen, the guy who the Giants acquired by trading away Brian Reynolds. I do think, there was a abandonment of responsible drafting strategies that took place there that could have kept the Giants' dynastic run going. Because obviously, you probably weren't going to move Buster. You weren't going to move the Brandons. You weren't going to move Bumgarner. But you still got to, kind of like what the Warriors are attempting to do right now is in terms of how they want to keep Steph Curry's career going, you got to bring young guys along to kind of help supplement your big dudes. And the Giants just overall failed to do that. And that's where when I see what the Padres are doing, when they're like, if the Dodgers are going to be a Death Star, we'll be a Death Star too. That's the kind of attitude I want to see. And I do see that attitude from Buster, but it is year one, and you're not going to get the Death Star built overnight. I hope Buster can change that.
But I don't think you compare San Diego and San Francisco.
Well, not right now, no. But
because you just don't have...
But that's, I think, the level you got to get to.
I understand it, but A.J. Preller has an unlimited pocketbook, and also they play in San Diego, so I can go get Juan Soto. I can go make a play for Aaron Judge. I can bring in the top free agents, and yes, he was very good. He taught
the Giants don't have deep pocketbooks either. The Giants have 30 billionaires controlling
Aaron Judge doesn't want to play here. Shohei Ohtani doesn't want to play here. Juan Soto doesn't want to play here, so they have to do it a different way. So I guess if you're comparing San Diego, they can just go out and say, do you want to play at Petco? It's not LA.
Petco's not a hitter-friendly ballpark either.
But it's more so than that of San Francisco. I mean, at least the sun comes out in San Diego.
And they got the Marine Layer 2 down in San Diego.
But I think if you look and compare the two parks, I would say that San Diego is much more hitter-friendly. Although San Diego, the one thing that they haven't done this year is hit home runs, believe it or not.
Well, actually, the Padres' offense is, I think, statistically speaking, been worse than the Giants, which, again, I know that sounds crazy to say, but keep in mind, we see the Padres most of the time when they're playing the Giants, and obviously that's going to make the Padres look better by comparison. But no, overall, San Diego's offense is not spectacular. Now, they have done well for agency. Manny Machado has set a standard there. Xander Bogaerts, same thing. They did make a big trade with moving James Shields for Fernando Tatis Jr., so they've been shrewd there. I agree that the free agency thing, they got to... If San Diego can sign free agents, I'm going to say it, the Giants should be able to as well. And that becomes what's wrong with the pitch there. And I do wonder if the Giants are going to be more aggressive with free agent hitters going forward, because there was a time from Aaron Rowan being signed after the 2007 season all the way to, it might actually have been Adames, where the Giants, again, that was they didn't really sign any big time position players. And but the thing is, they weren't really in on a lot of them. There was obviously Giancarlo Stanton, but that was after 2017. Then, of course, there was the first Shohei attempt, the Bryce attempt, the Judge attempt, all that coming at a time when the Giants were just not a very good baseball team. I do wonder if the Giants, let's say after 2012, I don't know who the biggest free agent was on the market in 2012, the biggest free agent hitter. But let's say after 2012, they went out and threw a bunch of money at the biggest free agent hitter on the market after winning a World Series. I think the Giants you could make the argument the Giants maybe pull that signing off. But during that time, the Giants just did not go after big contracts because they wanted to focus their financial assets on the guys on the team, which makes sense. So this is all to say that the whole chasing of free agent hitters thing, it's tough right now. I don't think that's a thing that you should say, well, it's just never going to be a thing again. Because let's not forget, the biggest free agent hitter in baseball history, Barry Bonds, still decided to sign here. Well, it's because he's from here. He still had to sign the dotted line and still had to come here. So it is possible.
Well, and especially when you make the analogy with that of the Golden State Warriors, is that, and I think you're going to see this going forward, is that the Warriors are headed for lean times. Because
generous way of putting it.
Yeah, because you're just going to see these players get older, which is their foundation. And you can try and find and strike lightning twice, but you're not going to find a Steph Curry in any upcoming draft, nor are you going to get a Draymond Green in the second round, and you're not going to get another Klay Thompson and or a Jimmy Butler. So what it is that you're going to have to go through years, maybe decades, sorry, Warrior fans, until you find or you stumble upon that sort of magic. And unfortunately for a team like that of San Francisco, it's Buster Posey got old, Crawford got old, Zito and all those pitchers that were so good, the Bumgartners in the world, you weren't going to move off of that eventually, trying to replace them over time. Now, you could have said, well, we should have moved off of them a little bit sooner and keep this thing going. But it's a lot more, it's much more challenging than I think just to simply say that they chose to go in another direction. That's why the Dodgers are an anomaly. It's because they can go out and get players, they can afford to lose players, and they can afford to lose prospects because they continue to replenish that team. And they're a model franchise not only for baseball, but I think for every professional sport.
Oh, unfortunately, yes. Well, they've also had the number one farm system in baseball going back to 2008, which, again, drafting and developing matters. That's why when people say the Giants should tank, I scoff at that. The Dodgers have had the best farm system in baseball for the last 17, 18 years now, and they haven't had a losing record in that time. So it is clearly possible to build a winning farm system without having to do a full White Sox, Astros, Orioles type tank job. 888-957-9570 is the number. Giants fans, I want to hear from you. Marvin in San Francisco, you're on the wrap, Marvin. What's going on with the Giants, man? How did it get to this point?
Which subject that you guys have been talking about, what the Giants should do organizationally, and I'll just say this. I'm a destiny guy. I'm also a guy who believes in baseball karma, that kind of thing. Now, the 2010 Giants were nothing like you guys have described with respect to the Dodgers and the Padres. They were last in hitting in Major League Baseball halfway through the season. They were last in home runs during 2 of their championship seasons. They had no superstar in 2010. They had Brian Sabian, who was bringing in washed-up players. He had a killer bullpen that he put together that saved game after game in midseason and got them going. He had contact hitters like Scudero, like the Sanchez. They had these guys. They had vets seeking career redemption. That's what they had. And they had a manager. If I've ever seen a team that needs a new manager, a new spirit, a new confidence and hope, it's this one. They have had a manager who, and I don't know, hitting coach. I watch the YouTube highlights every night of every Giant game, and you notice patterns. And what I see are Giant hitters taking balls right over the plate for striking out and swinging at balls 4 inches outside. That's paralysis by analysis as a hitter, okay? They're thinking too much. They're trying to outguess what's going to happen. See the ball, hit the ball, look for the seams, that kind of thing. Okay, now, I'm going to give you an example of putting those two things together. Devers came up with the bases loaded when he was in the pits of his slump about maybe 3 weeks ago. Came up in the 9th inning or whatever with the bases loaded, or 8th inning, something like that. And I said to myself, man, This guy needs a game-saving hit to save his life. He doesn't need a home run. He doesn't need a grand slam. He needs to get a hit. If I'm the manager, I go out to the guy and I say, hey, you have to give him confidence. You have to give him focus. And more important, you say, don't try to hit a home run. Make contact. Hit the ball to the opposite field. This manager, I haven't heard a word from the entire season. Now, what is the manager's job? The manager, besides picking the lineup every day, is to instill confidence and instill hope and instill fire. Now, if another thing about this team, if they've ever seen a team that needed to have a brawl, it's this one. Because
Who are you picking? Who are you picking for your fight here, Marvin?
In
this corner, it's
Kevin Mitchell. It used to be Kevin Mitchell. I came from the old days. Okay,
yeah.
and
I remember Bonds and Kent did it too. Well, so Marvin, I'm here. If you were to pick two guys that just need to scuffle with each other, the lightest spark on this team, who are you picking?
No, I think that the Giants team. I need to see a massive.
Jung Hoo Lee and Christian Kaz.
You watch what happens after this team does that. They will be all of a sudden everything will change for them. They, like I said, it's paralysis by analysis. I would have fired this manager two months ago.
Yeah,
okay?
Thank you very much for the call there, Marvin. A lot of thoughts there. Love the calls this morning.
We're waking up the thunder today.
Giants fans are bringing it this morning. Who says Giants don't inspire callers?
What the hell they're talking about, but I like it.
Man, we're living up to the best Giants Talk in the Bay moniker on the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap today. Giants fans, callers, bringing it today. Love it. Exactly Howard Dean. We're going to wrap the show up on the other side. Are we still feeling good about this core? Is it just a manager team this change this team needs? Or, dare I say, could Bob Melvin actually do something between now and the next 40 games that brings him back next year? Oh, man, could you imagine? That and more, all presented by Fremont Bank, here for you, here for good.
This Labor Day weekend, be road trip ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. No appointment needed. Stay in your car while they change your oil and check your tires, battery, and fluids before you head down the coast or over the Golden Gate. Visit BayAreaOilChange.com.
With the Pettinelli Financial Partners 10th Annual Tournament to Support Autism Society, San Francisco Bay Area, committed to providing resources and activities for local families touched by autism. Sponsored in part by Atco Pest Control. This year's event offers a chance to golf with 95.7 The Game favorites and local sports celebrities. Have your company co-sponsor the event or get details on how you can play. Search 10th Annual Pettinelli Golf at Harding Park.
Come into Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill and see an amazing selection of Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove appliances live and on display in one of the largest living kitchens in the country. And save with Full Suite Savings Event. With qualifying purchase, get 3 additional years of protection or qualify for a $1,000 rebate. For the largest selection of Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove appliances, visit the Living Kitchen at Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill or at friedmansappliance.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Hey, it's your boy Guru. Every time we put a rat on the table during our show, it's brought to you by Atco Pest Control. Atco Pest Control is a family-owned local business proud to provide pest control in the Bay Area for over 35 years. Atco uses natural methods to give you a peace of mind and keep your family out of harm's way. Quality pest control doesn't have to empty your savings either. Don't wait. Go to AtcoPestControl.com for all your pest control needs. They got you covered.
Cool car.
cool people, good times. It's the Good Guys 38th West Coast National, August 22nd through the 24th at the Alameda County Fairgrounds in Pleasanton. Check out over 3,500 classes, an earth-shaking Nitro Thunderfest, tire-smoking burnout competition, Good Guys Autocross racing competition, plus an indoor car show celebrating 70 years of the Tri-5 Chevy and more. August 22nd through the 24th at the Alameda County Fairgrounds. Details at good-guys.com.
Lowe's knows tough jobs call for tougher tools. The new DeWalt Elite Series power tool accessories are built to last for the pro who doesn't stop. With precision fitment, durability, and impact resistance, finishing jobs faster has never been easier. Shop the new DeWalt Elite Series at an everyday low price exclusively at Lowe's. We help, you save.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Another teenager, victim to fake pills bought from social media. This doesn't seem like a drug deal, but it definitely is. Should buying prescription pills be that easy? Many fake pills contain fentanyl, and an amount small enough to fit on the tip of a pencil can be lethal. So listen, before buying pills from social media, think again. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org and go for real. Brought to you by USPTO and the National Crime Prevention Council.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Bring home Smurfs on digital now. In this fun, epic adventure, the Smurfs team up with new friends on a daring rescue mission to save Papa Smurf. Available at participating retailers. From Paramount Pictures. For a chance to win a digital copy, enter online at 957thegame.com.
Driven to right. And off the bricks, and Ramos is on the move. Koss comes in to score. It's a double. And the Giants lead 3-1.
You don't say it very often.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. The best Giants talk in the Bay on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, heck yes.
Yeah, man, you seem very emotional regarding this. You know what this song reminds me of?
Who's that?
So I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard this is like a Jimmy Garoppolo song, like a song that he would play.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was more
like
of a C&W, country and western guy.
I don't know, maybe it is. I don't know. It was, Sterling Bennett told me years ago that, yeah, this is like the Jimmy Garoppolo song or something. So now I don't know if that's true or not, but unfortunately now every time I hear this song, it's like, oh, it's the Jimmy G song.
Jimmy G.
Yeah. Got to get a Jimmy G
We have
mention.
not heard the end of Jimmy G, by the way.
Oh, no, of course not. Oh,
there's going to be a day when Stafford goes down with that injury.
Week 5.
And there he is.
Niners-Rams, SoFi, Thursday night. Jimmy G versus the Niners. Make it happen, football gods.
I'd like to see some more Pat Spencer in my life.
Oh, man, I don't know. I can never find that the Troy Aikman drop from the NFC title game against the Rams. You know, I'm afraid it's going to have to come down to Jimmy G for this one. Oh, what an all-time line. Man, this is, we hated Jimmy, but we miss him at the same time, just so he could bash our heads against the wall.
My favorite is when things got so ridiculous that, remember, he was throwing on a side field all by himself.
The baby field. Yep, the infamous baby field.
With nobody else. He didn't even have receivers.
I remember going to training camp. That was my first time going to training camp, I think, with the morning roast. I went down there with, it was Shasky and Langford that day. Bonte was off frittering around in Europe at the time. And we get there, and it's, you get over there. Trey Lance was supposed to be the guy that year, so he's taken all the one snaps, and Nathan Peterman was there, and there was this third quarterback there that no one was paying attention to. And then, as you're walking in, you pass a little baby field, and then there's Jimmy G right there. And it's just like, aren't you not supposed to be here? Didn't you say see ya or something? And you're out of here. And wouldn't you know it, he ends up starting for them a few weeks into the season. And yes, the third quarterback I mentioned there was Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I was doing shows at night during that time, and I would play this clip every evening.
You and Shamari, right?
The Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving.
There you go. And Jimmy will never leave the Bay Area sports landscape. I'm bringing up the Niners, though. I'm bringing up Jimmy because he used to play for the Niners, and I'm bringing up the Niners because in an hour and a half, they are going to be kicking off their second preseason game against the Las Vegas Raiders down at Allegiant Stadium.
Who's quarterbacking the Raiders, by the way?
It's Geno Smith is going to be starting for them. I don't know who any of their backups are right now, but yeah, Geno Smith is the guy under Pete Carroll down there. They always got Tom Brady. They can turn to him in a pinch. But yeah, Niners, Raiders, 1 o'clock after the game. Flip on 95.7 the game and hang out with Mark Grandy for a little red and gold overtime and talk about that second preseason game and the one whole snap that Brock Purdy might take today. So, yeah, that's going to be today after the conclusion of the Niners-Raiders game. So, again, lock into 95.7 and talk some Niners football with the Grandy man. He's a fun guy to talk Niner football with. But we are talking Giants baseball here, and, you know, we're talking about just what's wrong with this team. How did it get to this point? And obviously, I think that the short, easy answer for everybody is you're going to point at the manager. And for the most part, I think that is probably the safest pick, probably the most accurate pick. And I know there's a lot of Giants fans that probably think that the announcement that Bob Melvin is not going to have his job here anymore, that announcement should have happened already. I think it was, Drew wanted to have him, was it Drew or Marvin? Drew wanted him fired a couple months ago. Marvin wanted him out. The fact that it has not happened yet tells me that either Buster Posey doesn't think it's gotten that drastic yet, that they would dismiss a manager in August. Well, first off, the Giants don't usually do that. I can't remember the last. Gabe Kapler was fired before the last weekend of the series, but of the season. I think you got to go back to, you know what, if you guys could, friends in the back, 1985 season, if we can look up when they fired the manager that year. I think it was Frank Robinson that year, or might have been someone else. If you can give me the refresher there, because I think that was the last time there was a true in-season manager
that was
dismissal.
the beginning of the Roger Craig era?
And that led to the Roger Craig era, exactly. So
it was Frank Robinson.
It was Frank Robinson? Okay, when was he dismissed during that season?
1986.
It was in the 86 season then. Was it in the middle of the season or after the season?
I'm sorry, it was 86 in the middle of the season.
Middle of the season. Okay, so you got to go back to the middle of the 1986 season then to find out, summer of 86? Late fall? Can we get an exact-ish date there? Giants basically don't do this very often. There's a part of me that thinks they're just going to play out the string here with Bob Melvin, and then maybe the last week of the season that makes a move. But in the meantime, I think that also does create a potential situation where this team starts doing something that they haven't done for 3 months, which is play really good baseball, have a strong finish to the season. And is it crazy to think that there is a future in the next 40 games? So I go Dr. Strange here and I look forward, I see 14 million future outcomes. Is there a future outcome on this season, Dan, that you think where Bob Melvin basically manages himself back into the Giants' 2026 plans, and it's not like the craziest thing that's happening?
No. And the reason being is sort of what I've maintained throughout the entire show is that 5 games is not unsurmountable. Now, look, if you're the Braves, if you're the Nationals, if you're the Pirates, if you're the Rockies, you look at those teams and you're like, okay, we're not catching anybody because we have weaknesses here, here, and here. Now, the fact that we continue to do these shows and we're so mystified as to why is this team playing so poorly, and today we've taken about 35 different takes as to what's wrong with the San Francisco Giants. If you're to see the glass half full, that should tell you that actually this team still has the capability and the personnel to play well. Because it isn't as though there's one area where they're just simply deficient. No, these are all good, bona fide major league players. And so there is still, now clearly it's It's not as likely as it once was as of a month ago, but there is still the chance of them putting together good baseball and playing to their potential. And I know that we shouldn't be surprised, and I certainly am not going to be, if suddenly, Willie Adames and Casey Schmidt and Devers starts hitting the cover off the ball, and here comes Elliot Ramos, because they have the capability and they have the resume of doing this. And we know Logan Webb can pitch. Robbie Ray's been good. He gets something out of Landon Roop, and your bullpen has been hurt since the deadline, but still good enough. And so I'm not trying to, if you ever listen to me, I never try and spin things as a homer. But when you're this complex about why a team is playing so poorly, what essentially is telling you that there's the capability that they might play much better than this. And don't be surprised if we're doing this exact same show. Now, this is what I want to hear. You can play this drop next week. You hear me, Pasta? That if the Giants this time next week could be within 3 to 2.5 games of a wild card, and it'll change the entire complexion of our show and the season going forward.
It's theoretically possible, I guess. Let's let that happen first before we cross that bridge. But you do make a good point about the core of this team, and I think that's the other side of this coin here, because there is frustration with Bob Melvin, and Matt Chapman was asked about kind of, why this team has been sliding. Last night we asked him this. He gave his answer, and I'll just play. Here's what he had to say.
Hard to say. The teams we're playing, they're still good. Those are good teams. We're facing good arms every day. Other guys on the teams that we're playing are driving in runs, and sometimes you go through stretches like that, and it takes one big game or one big at bat or one good outing from a pitcher to turn it around. And sometimes it takes longer than you want it to. But I think that there's plenty of guys in this room that are capable of putting together really good stretches of baseball, and we've shown it before earlier in the season. We've shown that we can hang with anybody. I think it's just a matter of us finding a way to get it stopped and get us back on track. And whether that's somebody on our team getting the big hit, or shutting down an inning, whatever it is. It just seems like right now we're on one of those stretches where we haven't been able to just finish it off. Maybe we score a lot, and then we give up a little bit more, or we don't score, and the pitchers don't give up any runs, but then we don't score. So we just haven't been able to kind of string it together.
And again, so that's kind of what he was talking about there. And he is putting onus on the players there that, maybe, it's, if there is a spark, it comes from them. And he did go, and I don't think we have the cut here, but he was asked about, what is being said about Bob Melvin. And he did say that, he put it on the players.
He's a big Bob Melvin guy.
Well, yeah, he's played for him before, but I do like players taking that responsibility of, the players do play, the coaches do coach. And the reason I do want to get into this with the players is because obviously there's the Melvin aspect. I think everyone is pretty set in their ways when it comes to Bob Melvin. But are we still feeling good about this core, though? And because this, for better or worse, I believe is the Giants' core. If you don't believe me, Larry Baer joined the Morning Roast back in June. Here's what he had to say about having this core together.
Yeah, we're excited about the fact that, not unlike in some of those years where Buster, brought home championships, and even in the years when we opened the park with Barry and Jeff Kent, et cetera, we're going to have a group together for a while. Contractually, we have Matt Chapman. Matt Williams stands near Matt Chapman when the Giants are up in the third base coaching box. But Matt Chapman, Willie Adames, Jung-Hoo Lee, Rafi, Logan Webb. I mean, these guys are all signed, out into the future. So, Elliot Ramos is, we have years of future with him as well. Contract. So it's, these are players the fans can get their arms around, players that can become leaders in the clubhouse. They're not going anywhere. And those kinds of dynamics we think play well. And I think, frankly, have something to do with, why we're, off to a good start this year.
We'll see.
Yes. I mean, they were off to a good start when that was said, but obviously that's not the case anymore. But you heard it from Larry. I mean, that's your core. Throw Jung-Hoo Lee and Elliot Ramos in there too. I mean, are Giants fans still feeling good about that core right now? It probably right now, no, just because things are so dire. But overall, Dan, is that a core that you're still kind of willing to go to battle with?
I am.
I agree.
Somebody needs to point out to me what's wrong with any of those players. Now, granted, they haven't played up to, again, their full potential. But those aren't Those aren't bad baseball players. Those aren't players with a lot of warts.
Yeah.
One thing a guy I want to do
None of those players are unsalvageable, I would say.
One guy that I do want to mention and defend is Elliot Ramos. Now, I know he's been the target, and I heard the previous call, and I've heard other people say that when you assess this baseball team, as everybody does if you miss the playoffs, I don't care who you are. You get in a room, the executives sit in a conference room, and they go through the entire roster. What do we do with this guy going forward? Elliot Ramos is not a guy that I think anybody should touch. Now, I know that this is part of the maturation process of a young player. He's got to get better in terms of paying attention to all these sort of little things that I think to this career he's been reliant on his athleticism and his ability to make contact, and he now has to be a major league. And what does that mean? It means you got to learn to play defense. It means you have to take a better angle on balls. It means you have to do your homework. Clearly, he does not look like a student as far as understanding where to be. Now, a lot of that's coaching as far as positioning. But I do think that will come in time. But when you have a young player that went to the All-Star game, and he's been a pretty solid hitter throughout the entire season, his defense has to get better. But this is a guy that's got, I want to say 3 more years of team control.
4 years, I believe. Yeah.
I am not moving Elliot Ramos. That, to me, is a reactionary sort of thing that somebody in management or somebody that doesn't know what they're doing or has not been through the wars would make a mistake like that. Because I think that you can get through this period. Now, talk to me if this time next year he's still making these sort of bonehead mistakes. But what I'm seeing out of Elliot Ramos is what you see out of a lot of young players, and that is growth, right? Is that he's learning how to play this position on a day-to-day basis. And some of the minutia that maybe as a young star early on in your career you can get away with is now something that he has got to get into the lab or something that he has to work on a daily basis over the offseason. But he sure as hell isn't going anywhere if I have anything to do with it.
I agree with that. I mean, this is a guy, people were talking about potential extensions for him coming into this year. That's not happening anytime soon. What I will say with Ramos that kind of gives me optimism for him for the future is that his issues, I feel, are correctable. I think we're seeing basically what he is offensively. I think we're content with what he is offensively. I don't think he's a every year all-star type guy, but he'll be dabbling around the all-star game every now and then. I think, if the field wasn't so deep in the outfield as well for the National League, he'd probably have a better chance too. But again, I'm optimistic about him at the plate. Him in the field, though, is the issue. But I do believe that those are correctable issues. That is next year when you get to spring training, show up with the pitchers and catchers and get out there day one, start working on your defense, start getting better out there.
You got to do it before that.
You got to play a little bit of winter ball. Go do that and start working on your defense out there. He's got to get better on defense. Now, maybe he moves to right field. We had Dave Fleming on earlier this week. He mentioned that Ramos in right field is a potential option. I've heard whispers around the ballpark that Ramos might want to be more in right field as well. I believe when he came up, that was his natural position. So maybe that's a development to keep our eyes on here, especially seeing as right field is now open with Mike Yastrzemski gone. And Drew Gilbert, in the week that he has spent in the big leagues, has not seized that position. Again, he's 22 years old. So he's got some time there as well. So yeah, maybe that's an option there for Elliot Ramos. The other one, though, it is Jung-Hoo Lee. And this is one where I hear a lot of conflicting things on Jung-Hoo Lee. I think there's parts of this team that likes him, parts of this team that's frustrated with him. I think he's shown a lot of growing pains getting used to the big league game this year, growing pains that would have been a lot better to go through last year. I've been very adamant on that missing last year really set Jung-Hoo Lee back a lot. And I do wonder if because Buster didn't sign Jung-Hoo Lee. Let's not forget that. Yep. Farhan Zaidi threw a couple Brinks trucks at Jung-Hoo Lee to bring him here, and he did have to overpay for him. I don't stress about the money all that much, but it is still a reality. And Alex Pavlovich, Giants insider for NBC Sports Bay Area, sometimes on Giants pre and post. He's down at the ballpark a lot. He's tapped in as anyone. He joined Willard Dibs on Tuesday, and here's what he had to say about the concept of buyer's remorse with Jung-Hoo Lee.
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, at the very least, he's been a fan favorite here, which they needed more of. What they probably are going to look at the end of the year is that they probably played him too much in the first half. And that is the one thing that we don't know about him just because we saw 37 games last year. But look, we saw this with Yaz over the years. I'll go back. I remember covering Blanco. Like, Blanco was great for 2 weeks. If you played him for 2 months, at some point you'd look up and the numbers weren't there. So I do think it's maybe easy to point at the frame and go, it looks like he's worn down, but I do think he looks like he is worn down a little bit, especially at the end of the first half. And I do wonder going into next year if they will feel like maybe they need to find a few more days off and ways to keep him fresh.
So they don't have buyer's remorse, but based on that analysis there from Alex Pavlovich, it's not rosy either. Gregor Blanco is not a guy that Jung-Hoo Lee should be compared to. Gregor Blanco, World Series champ, forever minted as a great Giant, but like, he was not a great hitter. I used to call it the Gregor Blanco curse. Every time Gregor Blanco came up, well, guess we're done scoring this inning. It's like when the Giants come up with the bases loaded and nobody out. Well, I guess we're done scoring this inning. Jung-Hoo Lee cannot be a Gregor Blanco type hitter. He cannot be a Gregor Blanco type player. And if that is his ceiling, then yeah, you're going to start getting a lot of buyer's remorse on him in that sense. And him wearing down this year, I can pass that off as it's your first full year in the bigs, and you need to kind of get calloused a little bit to the everyday grind of Major League Baseball here on this side of the Pacific Ocean. But as you talk about with Ramos, if we're still seeing this next year, if we're still seeing this from Jung-Hoo Lee next year, then I think you're on big time red alert. This just isn't happening here. Again, this is where him missing last year just totally screws it all up.
I think he needs some of those pizza bagels on that slight frame of his. But something that Pavlovich said really resonates with me, and it's you can't necessarily dismiss it because at the end of the day, it's easy to do because what does that really mean? But he is a fan favorite. And I think part of the reason why you're seeing sort of the 35,000 is not exclusively because of Jung-Hoo Lee, but let's face facts. There's a huge Asian populace here in this area. And if he's a guy that can, as he did in the beginning of the year with the Jung-Hooligans, is that what they call them?
The Hooligans.
The Hooligans. I mean, that's the sort of rapport that you're trying to build with your fan base. Like, that's when you've hit, when your team's playing well and your stars are somebody that's that well liked in the community, that's gold, right? And so that's something that, while he certainly has to perform on the field, but I think that he gets more of more slack maybe than the average player because they're very aware of that connection and the connective tissue he has with the fan base. And I don't think you can overlook that.
Well, I do think one of the criticisms during the Farhan era, and this is a criticism of the A's for a long time, is just when teams don't have guys who you feel safe getting their jersey of, it's a great way to lose your fan base. And during, the last 3 years of the Farhan era, it was tough finding a jersey that you wanted to wear. It was obviously you had your usuals. You had, the Brandons were represented. Buster will always have his jersey there. You had your pass greats. But in 22 and 23 especially, the jersey I saw the most of on the concourse was like a Mike Yastrzemski. There were a lot of Yaz jerseys. And I like Yaz. I'm always going to have a lot of respect for Yaz. But that can't be your most favorite player for a fan base. And I look at this team now. I'm seeing Devers jerseys. I'm seeing Chapman jerseys. I'm seeing Webb jerseys. I'm seeing Adames jerseys. And yes, I am seeing a lot of Jung-Hoo Lee jerseys. In that sense, that is a good thing. You want players, like, it's good that there are players on this team that fans care about and root for. And that's why I think you still got people coming to the park. There is going to come a time, though, where that goodwill does run out. And as we run out of time here on this show, and that's going to be what needs to change. I'm still in with the big three, Devers, Chapman, and Adames. I know I said that I would amnesty Chapman earlier in the show. That was a hypothetical for a thought exercise I wanted to do there. So I'm still riding with those three. Ramos, tenuous. Jung-Hoo Lee, tenuous. They both need to start turning it around soon. Jung-Hoo a little bit more sooner than Ramos, I think, right now.
What do they do in right field?
I would say, you know what? Let's try Ramos there. See if that works out. And I guess we can end it on this. I am not against trying Bryce Eldridge out there.
Wow.
So Maybe we tease that for next week. let's just leave everyone with a Bryce Eldridge thought, because I'm gonna say I don't think he's coming up anytime soon. Giants fans. Dan, this was a lot of fun, man. Really glad that we could do this today. Glad to have you back. Steve and Zach, great stuff from you behind the glass. Callers, YouTubers, y'all were great today. Hopefully the Giants can take some of that and start putting some wins together. We'll be back next week with some more fun Giants talk. And don't forget, everybody, Dodgers suck.
This is Dan Devone saying, so long, everybody.
Later, dudes. Let her rip. Hang 10.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up